Happer and Schaefer.
Says I take no joy in life. I can see that.
Coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Why are you yelling at me?
Whatever, make me a bicycle, clown.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Connor Happer.
You might want to look away for this.
Mike Schaefer.
My boy's awake and smart.
This is Happer and Schaefer.
How many tackles can one man break?
Holy moly! Man, woman, and child did that. Put him in the aisle.
He's gone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
Cross to the middle. Juggle. Diving touchdown, Nebraska. Davison on the deflection. Very close. 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Kellogg's go. It's going to be tipped and caught. It's caught. It's caught. It's a touchdown, Westertown. They give it to Janovich, and he powers for a first down and more. There goes Andrew Janovich.
He just obliterates the guy in a peelback block. I mean, he knocked him from here to Sunday.
Welcome in. Happy Friday. It's Happer and Schaefer here on 93.7 The Ticket and the ticketfm.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer with you. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Connor.
How are you?
Not bad. We're at the end of the week. It's going to be the fastest hour in sports talk at 10 a.m., which is brought to us by Allo. Chris Basnet's going to join. You guys are going to argue on air. I'll just sit back and maybe put my feet up a little bit.
What might we argue about today?
See if I can throw in some sort of comment that can tip the scales a little bit.
A little grenade.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the skills that I'm pretty good at amongst my actual friends, of basically just like lobbing something in and then slowly sneaking out and watching it, go. So we'll see what I can do today.
Okay, interesting. See what we can get going there.
You seem less enthusiastic about it than I am.
Oh, I'm always excited to argue with Baz. Whatever comes up, I'd be happy to yell at him for 5 minutes or whatever it might take. All right, so he will join the show, Chris Bazin, in the 10 o'clock hour. We'll have Max Olson, of course, to preview the weekend in college football at 9:30, but also talk about the college football playoff rankings, where we are at with those. And what the kind of path is for some of these other teams to make the playoffs. Coaching search. I think we spent the entire interview last week on coaching search, which is pretty funny for the final week of October.
Well, I mean, and remember, I even threw in a Gary Patterson question, and then that came out on Monday.
Fired.
Yeah. So,
or resigned, whatever.
Separation agreement.
Separation agreement.
So
he got fired.
That's in there.
It's okay. We could say it. All right. So here's something that we didn't get through yesterday that I wanted to get to. We just kind of ran out of time for. So probably everybody talked about it yesterday, but the Dirk Chatelain story about all the stats that make Nebraska incredibly outlierish in college football. So basically, we went through all these things: offense, defense, special teams, these margins that Nebraska's kind of dealing with, how they don't translate yards into points, and all this stuff. And we all know that. That's kind of true. Not kind of true. It's definitely true. So there's this luck rating that apparently exists. So I'll just read you this kind of excerpt here. Entering November, Northern Illinois ranks first, 2.5 more wins than expected. Ohio State ranks 129th, minus 1.7, or I'm sorry, Ohio ranks 129th, minus 1.7 wins. Everyone's clustered pretty tightly, so they're within a 4-win kind of range there. Except Nebraska. The Huskers' luck rating is dead last nationally, minus 2.7. That's a full win less than anybody else. It is the worst luck rating since Notre Dame's minus 3.3 in 2016. Of college football's 647 teams the past 5 seasons, none has had a worse luck rate than Nebraska in 2021, but it gets worse. Notre Dame played 12 games that year. The Huskers have only played 9. So per game, only one FBS team since 2003, when the database began, compares to Nebraska's minus 0.3 per game average. That was 2015 Georgia Tech, who ended up being minus 3.6 on the year, according to the team rankings guru I contacted. This is from Dirk. It's statistically too similar to separate from Nebraska's. In plain English, this is what it means. In 19 years, roughly 2,500 FBS teams completed a football season. None statistically underachieved more than Nebraska has so far in 2021, at least not in relationship to its performance level.
So when you said 2016 Notre Dame, I instantly knew which team that was. They went 4-8, and then since have been pretty much perennial playoff contenders.
So this is kind of been the story. We've touched on this many times before, just over the last basically like 5 years, I suppose. So there's this thing that happens to Nebraska every year, and it usually shows up pretty well in the preseason analytics, like the predictive stuff. So what they, you could go back and read every version of Phil Steele's magazine over the last 5 years, and here's what it'll say: Nebraska was really horrible in the luck factor last year, and that basically encapsulates a lot of things. Which is, most notably, I think turnover margin. How many turnovers are you getting? How many are you losing? How many of them are kind of fluky fumbles or weird kind of fluky plays? They tend to bounce kind of back and forth from year to year. It evens out over a long period of time, like we're dealing with here, 5 years. The thing with Nebraska is that it has never evened out. It just hasn't. They've been a bad luck team for as long as for 2 coaching staffs now. They've been a bad luck team, which points to. So you can read this story. It's really, really interesting, and I've seen conversations following it that have been like, so. We have 2 people reading this story. One person's like, look at this. It's going to turn. Frost is right. They're close. And then another person on the other side is like, actually, no, that's not what that means. What they're saying is, it's been like this for a long time. It's not turning. After a certain amount of time, it's just a trend. It's just who you are. We've had Wet Blanket been texting into the show for the last 2 years. I talk about 50-50 games. And he's like, Happer, they're not 50-50 games if they just keep losing them. And eventually I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's actually correct. You're right. Nebraska has this unbelievable, uncanny, and really unique trend in college football. It's truly unique, where they don't bounce back from teams, when in comparison to teams that statistically just do. Iowa goes 7-6 one year because they're around 0 in the turnover margin, and it just looks really weird for them. And the next year, all of a sudden, it's November and they're undefeated again, and their turnover margin is plus 37. Right? That's barely an exaggeration. It's barely an exaggeration. But here's the thing about
they play Maryland.
Here's the thing about Iowa. They're opportunistic, right? Yeah. Their defenses make those plays. Nebraska, I think the Oklahoma game is a really great example of this, and I go back to it occasionally. Nebraska is playing a team like Oklahoma this week, even though they're not as big of a favorite or underdog as they were against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, you play well enough, in theory, to kind of win that game, or you at least dictated the terms, right? You had what it took that day to win that game. But when presented with the opportunity 3 times in that game to intercept Spencer Rattler's passes, Nebraska let them fall to the turf.
Yeah.
And they were tough plays. The Braxton Clark one going deep. There was a Cam Taylor-Britt one where it looked like he might have been able to take it back. Those balls just fell to the turf, and they ended up being nothing. So then we ended up flatlining on that entire game. It ended up being nothing. Nebraska could have and should have, if they were a normal team, won that game. They didn't make those plays. So what is that? Is that luck? Or is that just not doing it? I tend to think it's just not doing it.
Yeah, it's so hard to parse through this stuff, which is ultimately what you're getting at. I tend to think Nebraska underachieves, and then you get these sort of results. So I was looking at Notre Dame's 2016 schedule. They had 7 one-score losses, one in overtime, most of them in the rest of them in regulation, and then their season finished with like a 12-point loss to USC, I think. And so, one-score losses is definitely part of that. The problem I have with Nebraska is it's just a different thing every week. Like there's no the issue I sort of have even with them as losers is that you can't even bank on one thing being available to you each week. Like they're a slightly different team every time they take the field. And I don't understand why they can't find any level of consistency anywhere, whether it's in special teams, which were a tire fire, to now, other than some concern with your field goal kicker, whoever that's going to be, the punting is fine now. For the most part, you've solved kickoffs. Your kick return defense and your punt return defense have gotten better as the people who are tasked with putting the ball in the air, and both of those have done better with their jobs. So that simplifies that. Punt return, you replace Cam Taylor-Britt. They haven't fumbled a punt since the 4th game of the season.
They've actually taken a couple punts returned.
Yeah, they just had
they had an 11-yard return.
Oh no. Which is 3 off of your guess of 14 for a couple of weeks ago. Is that right?
It might have been the other way. They might have taken it for 14 and I guess or something like
There's
that.
somewhere in there, but those are the 2 numbers I have in my head. So it feels like as some things have improved, other things have receded fairly hard. The defense, I don't think, is nearly as good at getting off the field as they were in the middle third of the season.
So,
and the offense is just sort of all over the freaking place.
I don't want to make this like the case for like keeping Scott Frost or the case for like Scott Frost isn't, part of this. But the thing that is maybe most confusing about it for me is that this is the luck kind of factor here, or whatever that adds up to, and it doesn't have to be just statistically numbers wise. Like you could see it when Nebraska plays in the field. That's over multiple coaching staffs. That's not just the last 3 years.
Yeah,
that's
not
why
I
just
don't
this year.
I wouldn't tie it particularly hard to Scott Frost. I mean, I would tie it to all sorts of things where it's basically just a program that's largely been downtrodden, has not been able to dig out of a hole, has not played well in tight situations, hasn't put teams away when given the opportunity, lacks certain pieces on both sides of the ball that help you put teams away, whether that's a running game that you can go to in the 4th quarter that keeps the other team off the field, whether that's a defensive line that creates havoc, that when teams have to come back on you, it's hard because when this is the case, when Nebraska has to score a touchdown with a minute left, there are defenders in the quarterback's face every time. That's not true when Nebraska is the one with the lead and Aiden O'Connell is driving down the field as the 3rd string walk-on quarterback in 2019.
Yeah.
So they just lack certain parts of their team, and they have.
Well, they basically
for several years.
They basically just make it really hard on themselves.
Yeah. Their margin for winning is like
already small.
Pretty small, and there's certain things that they have to do to get there. And when you start to slowly recede some of those things, it puts them underwater, so to speak. And then it's really hard to get back above surface. And so they're sitting there and they try to, tread water, and slowly you lose the energy, and then all of a sudden you're underwater and the game is over.
Right.
And I mean, that's just sort of where they're at.
Like if you're Scott Frost, you're reading this and you're like, and you are reading it. If you're Scott Frost, you're like,
well, got 0-6. I don't know.
Take a look. We just need to make a play. We just need to win one. And that's where I get it from his standpoint.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it just hasn't happened for whatever reason, whether that's mental, whether that's I don't know. It's there's a lot of stuff that goes into that.
It all goes back to the sort of discussion that we have where he talks about that they need something to happen for them. And it's harder for me to accept that they're a bad luck team when the losses to teams like Illinois and Minnesota and Purdue, they don't feel like luck.
Absolutely.
They
not.
feel like Nebraska's played down and they played bad.
Right.
Michigan State, that feels like luck. That feels like you're under a bad sign.
But even, I mean, and those are the games that the Purdue's and the Minnesotas and the Illinois, those are the games that are the biggest kind of black eye in this thing
because
for me.
they're the ones that you need to win, so then we can talk about the other ones as to how do you get over the hump.
But even in those games, for how poorly they play, they still have chances to make those plays and get over the hump and win them. And and once again, just as it is in the big games, they don't do it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is an issue that they seemingly don't show up to these games, or the mentality is different when they're 7-point favorites compared to 7-point underdogs. I don't know how to describe that, but even if you play it out again, there's for a normal team, there's 3, 4, 5 times where Nebraska actually just makes enough plays to get out of there with a win. It's called winning ugly. It's something that Nebraska doesn't do. They just lose. Nebraska doesn't win ugly. They just lose.
Yeah.
Nebraska loses pretty a lot, whatever that means.
Okay, so what would their last ugly win be? Would Rutgers count as an ugly win?
Maybe you turned it over 4 times.
Penn State, I don't know that I would count that as an ugly win, though the second half was not good.
I mean, all their wins this year are
not
good enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that also skews things too.
Right.
Like some of the Nebraska's a top 20 team on offense and defense is skewed by what they did in the 3 games of Fordham, Buffalo, and Northwestern. Like those feel like significant outliers in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to go back. So Maryland wasn't an ugly win in 2019. Northwestern was an ugly win, and Illinois was an ugly win.
There you go.
South Alabama was an ugly win.
So their wins, their wins last year were Penn State, Purdue, and Rutgers.
Yeah, Purdue I didn't think was an ugly win.
No.
Rutgers you could classify, and I wouldn't count Penn State as an ugly win, but that's just people can go that way if they want.
2019, South Alabama, yeah, that would qualify, I think. Northern Illinois wouldn't. Illinois wouldn't. I don't think either.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Even though
you had to come back from behind.
Even though they had to come back, they played. I mean, they played pretty well in order to do. Maybe it was tail. Okay, I might see that one.
Some of it's hard because they did a bunch of really stupid stuff in that game,
right.
And they won anyway. So I guess we probably need a more baseline definition of what an ugly win is.
And then in 2018, I mean, all their wins were pretty convincing.
Yeah.
With the
even Michigan State, I wouldn't count as an ugly win.
So this is, I don't know, what do we count there? Probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, Northwestern for sure, 2019.
Yeah.
Rutgers let's just say Rutgers 2020.
Okay.
And then do you want to include Illinois? South Alabama 2020 or 2019?
Yeah.
So 3 at least. And
they
then
were basically all in 2019, which is interesting because if you do the math, if they don't make the plays like they haven't kind of been this year, there's a world where they go 2-10 in 2019.
And there's a world where they go 8-4.
Right.
At 29, as bad as this year feels, 2019 was a team where I really felt like Nebraska blew a lot in that season.
Oh, totally. I mean,
Colorado, you blew a game there. Purdue, you blew a game there. Iowa, you have the ball and a chance to win.
Indiana,
you're up 14-3. Those are the
2019 Iowa is one of the worst things, one of the biggest travesties to humankind.
Yeah. So even if you just split those, you're 7-5.
But also their wins were. They had a big win against Maryland. They beat Northwestern by the tip of somebody's finger.
The toe of Lane McCallum.
Didn't they look back and it was somebody actually tipped that at the line of scrimmage, or somebody got their actual finger on it?
I don't remember.
I
was too busy running in to get the celebration shot of Nebraska hoisting Lane McCallum over there.
I had never been more stressed out for a 2-yard field goal than that exact moment. It's just
a 2-yard field goal would be hard.
It was basically a 2-yard field goal. And then Illinois could have gone the other way. You were going to win Northern Illinois. South Alabama maybe could have there's a world where Nebraska went 2-10 that year.
Yeah, no.
Especially if they are if they look as kind of downtrodden luck-wise as they are this year. But that's the point. Like they just don't win those games. You could go and I mean, that's the difference between Nebraska and then you look at Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa in this division. They win ugly all of the time. And yeah, we could boil it down to a few things. Somebody's like, well, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's very obvious. Like it's penalties, it's turnovers, it's special teams, it's, bad play calling, all the stuff. But that goes back to Schaefer's point. It always feels like it's something different every game. Nebraska could be at least even, maybe even positive sometimes in special teams. And then Adrian Martinez decides to throw 4 picks. Adrian Martinez could be incredible, has a 400-yard all-purpose game, and Nebraska muffs a punt.
Right.
And they take it back for a touch. That's the type of stuff. So there's too many little tiny keyholes for it to make sense.
You know what's both sad and sort of amazing is that you could pick a different scenario, and then we're just given little index cards that has each game that Nebraska's played in written down on it, and you could just line it up with it. Because you just said muffed a punt, I immediately went to 2020 Iowa.
Right.
Adrian played pretty well that day until Matt Sichterman got whipped by the defensive lineman at midfield, and he fumble interception. I don't know what it was, but
he just dropped it. It was.
But earlier in that game, you're basically set up to fully take control, and Cam Taylor-Britt muffs that punt. So I would lay that index card down for
punt return taken back on you.
Yeah, Michigan State 2021
nailed it. Let me go back through some of the other games. This could be fun.
Blown double-digit lead. There's 9 of them.
Right.
You've got.
Oh, I should get back out my list. My list that I did a few weeks ago of all of the losses and categorize them.
Yeah.
I
feel like no one would enjoy this exercise. Probably in the same way that we would, but it would be sort of amazing. Quarterback meltdown game. There's going to be 7 of those.
This could be a whole industry. We can make a board game out of it. Match the card with the loss.
Yeah, match the loss. Match the loss. The Nebraska version. We'll make a Tennessee one as well and send to Alan Bell as a gift.
Somebody creative out there could definitely put this together in about 30 minutes. If you're bored at work today, I would certainly love to see the matching game of the Nebraska losses. All right. If you guys have anything on that, we'll take it here. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Hammond text line. They are open for you guys during the show. We'll have Big Ten Power Rankings with tiers.
I got a theme.
We'll have Max. We'll have Keys and Peas. We'll have Sexy Picks, which has a new sponsor. Heck yeah. We're bringing them all in.
Is that sponsor going to make us sexier?
Yes. Yes, they are. Let's take a quick break. Thoughts from you guys up next.
Follow Connor and Mike on Twitter @Connor Happer, @Mike J. Schaefer. You're listening to Happer and Schaefer. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Areas of fog this morning, then some clearing this afternoon. We'll top out near 62. South-southwest winds could eventually gust around 15 to 20. Patchy fog possible again tonight. We'll drop down to around 41 for the low. Clearing skies and a gorgeous Saturday on the way as we'll top out near 70 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been to Barn Wood and Leather, that new furniture store in Lincoln? It's a whole new look. If you like country, you'll love Barn Wood and Leather. It's country with a kick. Rustic, yet contemporary, handcrafted in America from historic reclaimed barnwood and the finest leather. Create your own one-of-a-kind look for a room or your whole home. Come see for yourself at Barn Wood and Leather, South 14th and Dahlberg. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street. Tractor Supply Distribution Center Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or come for Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Aggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Welcome back, Husker fans. Eustace Body Shop is happy to welcome the best fans in college football back to Lincoln. With gold-class certified service, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop can call the right place to keep you in the game. Whether it's in Lincoln at 88th and Highway 2 or at any of our other 5 locations across Nebraska, Eustace Body Shop can help get you back on the road. Go Big Red.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
You're listening to Happer and Schaefer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on Happer and Schaefer, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Husker fan in Manhattan says 3 questions. All right. Is our defense playing better this year?
Relative to what?
It doesn't add that.
I think statistically it is in some fact. Like, it's just hard. It's not taking the ball away enough, and it's not creating enough havoc, but I think scoring is down.
Not to dwell on the first question too much, but the other 2 are similar, by the way. I think this defense is, for the personnel that it has, there would probably be an argument there that it is maxed out.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's definitely fair.
And that's not anybody's fault. Like that's exactly what you expect. That is a good thing, right? But it doesn't. You don't go much higher. I don't think the defense could be. This isn't going to be an explosive playmaking defense. Clearly. We have enough evidence to see, and that's good. I'll take the consistency over whatever the hell's going on offense. I'll take the consistency. You could generally rely on it because you know what you're getting, but you're not going to get explosive turnovers and stuff like that. So that's the win and loss with the defense. Is our offense playing better this year?
Yes. From last year?
From last year, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
It is.
Is the team talent better this year?
It's the best team that they've had in Frost's 4 years.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So what's the point? That'd be my question.
Of his questions?
Yeah.
It seems like he would be arguing that they have underachieved, that they'd be 3-6.
Aha!
If all of those are yeses.
Okay. Now, is that the inference, or is it are we better or are we not? Is that a good coaching job or is it not? Right?
Yeah.
So that's about where we're at as a fan base. Right now.
Well, and look, you get to have these discussions if you have taken care of stuff on the front end of things. But when you're in the 4th year and you're 3-6 and you're 15-26 overall, no one wants to hear that you're having your best season with a team that's 3-6. When it's already pretty well believed that it's your most talented roster.
You're going to be 3-7 after tomorrow.
More than likely.
Yeah. Very likely. You're going to be 3-7 tomorrow. And I just don't the conversation of like we're having a good year doesn't exactly work.
Nope. And the conversation about how hard this schedule is doesn't work for me either, because you gave away games in which you were the favorite in.
3 of them.
And you didn't take advantage of games in which you were basically cover your ears, wet blanket of 50-50 team as an underdog.
3 of them. 3 favorite games.
Yep. But yeah, there's 5 games in there where you're 0-5, 3 times the favorite, 2 times the underdog, and 5 times the loser. So
record-wise, this team's underachieving. And, you know, and you would look at it and say, well, if you bring a lot of the same pieces back, which we could talk about that part of it, they don't necessarily, because there will be a pretty good amount of turnover going into 2022, no matter what. But if you bring the same type of team back and you bring the same coaching staff back, maybe that just evens out over time. And I would argue that it wouldn't, because it hasn't.
I just think the same issues that pop up every year, lack of consistency and ability to get up for some of these games, they're still going to be there. There's nothing magical to me that's going to happen for the Nebraska program that when the calendar flips from 21 to 22, suddenly all these things that cause you to lose games are just going to not happen anymore.
You want one more piece of sadness?
Well, yeah. I mean, I traffic in sadness.
So this isn't a stat or anything like that, but it seems like from reports coming out of Wisconsin that Chucky Hepburn is going to be Wisconsin's starting point guard this year.
I think we kind of thought that,
which
right?
shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a surprise. But it seems like he has, you know, I said when he was at Bellevue West that he pretty much is a Wisconsin point guard already. He's not terribly explosive, but he gets after you defensively. He can score when he wants to, and he makes plays for other people. Like, that's pretty much the trifecta of all the things that you need in order to play point guard at Wisconsin. And he's going to do that as a freshman.
He's probably a guy where you look at the roster, you look at who's across from you on the court if you're a guard, and you're just like, oh, man.
I'm going to have to deal with this.
It's going to be this kind of night.
I'm going to have to deal with this for 30 minutes.
For 3 years,
right?
Potentially 4.
Oh yeah, he's going to. It's unfortunate because
is Brad Davidson still on the Wisconsin? Why? How is he not gone?
He can never leave us.
Get the hell out of the Big Ten, Brad Davidson.
Sorry, man. He'll never leave. He'll probably be back next year too.
17th year senior Brad Davison takes his 47th charge of the conference season,
and Wisconsin will probably be annoyingly good again this year with their freshman point guard of the future, running the ship, driving the bus, whatever you want to call it up there. All right, let's take a quick break. Rico's in next for True or False.
More of Happer and Schaefer is coming your way on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
From Mexican tree pheasants to smoked pigeon street tacos and tagging tiger and blacktip sharks, plus chasing big and dangerous game. This week on The Revolution with Jim and Trav, it's all about the DIY outdoorsman. Joining the boys is Master Chef and outdoorsman Scott Lasath from Dead Meat and the intrepid Dave Folson with Trigicon's World of Sports Afield. The Revolution is presented by Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, World Fishing Network, and My Outdoor TV. Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket, Lincoln's Ticket to Sports.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In state volleyball on Wednesday, Class A number 3 Lincoln Southwest fell out of the playoffs, losing to number 6 Omaha Westside. It went into the 5th set where Omaha Westside came out on top 15-4. It was the 4th time the Warriors played in Lincoln Southwest. They were 0-3 against the Silverhawks on the season, but were able to pull off the upset on the biggest stage. This will be the first time Westside will be in the semifinals since 1985. Number 3 Lincoln Lutheran won their match in Class C1 against Bishop Newman. They put the game away in 3 sets. Abby Wackel led them with 14 kills. Caitlin Oxley, Ashley DeBoer, and Molly Martin would all contribute, with all of them having over 5 kills apiece. Number 3 Waverly won their match in Class B over Northwest in a sweep. They will have a big task on Friday as they are set to face number 2 Scott Catholic. Number 1 Norris won their match over number 8 Adams Central in a sweep. They are set to take on number 5 Elkhorn North in their next match. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear ya. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win too by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket. There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, sewer and water underground repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. That's Select Plumbing at 402-560-6197.
Welcome back, Husker fans. Eustace Body Shop is happy to welcome the best fans in college football back to Lincoln. With Gold Class certified service, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop can call the right place to keep you in the game. Whether it's in Lincoln at 88th and Highway 2 or at any of our other 5 locations across Nebraska, Eustace Body Shop can help get you back on the road. Go Big Red.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or Comfort Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Eggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Sponsored by Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health. You're listening to Happer and Schaefer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know, today is the second latest sunrise of the year. Everybody likes to talk about sunsets and when the sun sets and the day is getting shorter and all that stuff. And that's about to kick in. Starting next week, it's going to get dark at like 5 o'clock. Very sad. Seasonal depression kicking in, all that stuff. But the sun tomorrow will be the latest it rises, 8:03 a.m. in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is disappointing. We'll all be up tomorrow early to get ready to roll for Nebraska, Ohio State, and it will not be light outside.
And there will be no sun.
No sun.
Until it comes out.
There will be sun just barely when we have our pregame show, which starts at 8:30 tomorrow morning from Tipsy Tina's.
You were informing me that the weather's supposed to be solid tomorrow.
The weather's supposed to be very good tomorrow. It's going to be hard to beat last week.
Last week was fantastic.
But I think we have a chance.
Man.
High of 72 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Does it look windy? Is Chase Contreras going to have to deal with some wind?
I haven't checked the wind rates.
It hold on.
Check it out for us.
This afternoon's supposed to be very blustery.
Blustery.
Ooh, I like that word. Blustery.
Check the wind rates, Bing Bong.
Working on it. It's rude.
Bing Bong was in
Rude.
my list of things I'm tired of hearing about this week.
I know. I saw that. I don't think you saw it yet, but
what?
Rico, you just got subtweeted by Schaefer.
You definitely got
Did I?
subtweeted.
Yeah, it's okay.
Awesome.
He's excited about it.
He likes it. Yeah,
I do. Okay. 5 to 10 miles an hour.
Oh, it's gonna be
That's
great.
great.
It's gonna be great
Why are we golfing tomorrow?
because we're watching football.
Oh,
and we're forced to.
Let's see. So if I can get out at about 4 o'clock,
you got no chance.
Wait, that's
I can get 3
that's-
holes in before I'm told to get off the course.
You got no chance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 5 to 10,
At what time?
and then it says 15 at night. I don't know what night means, but it'll get up to.
That's
So we're just
doable.
gonna say 5 to 15.
It doesn't matter. I'm inside it.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Sunshine, high is 72.
It'll be a good crisp morning and then a lovely, lovely
64% humidity.
Are there games I should be excited about tomorrow night?
No. No. There are not.
We finally get back on the
said
king
tomorrow night?
of game times with 11 a.m.
Oh no.
And I get nothing to watch tomorrow night?
No. Just watch something else.
Here, let's see. Tennessee, Kentucky.
No.
We're picking it.
No,
we're picking it. Yeah.
Iowa, Northwestern.
Guess who the favorite is in Tennessee, Kentucky?
If it's Tennessee.
It's Tennessee.
It is Tennessee.
I'm going to have to pick Will Levis and put my name
Oh,
to
here you go.
this.
Texas, Iowa State.
No.
Okay.
Don't watch TV at night. I'm telling you.
9:30 USC, Arizona State.
No.
Don't do this.
10 o'clock San Diego State, Hawaii. Hawaii's wearing
Michael
Pearl
Burns game of the
Harbor.
week.
Yeah.
Hawaii's wearing Pearl Harbor themed jerseys.
Oh.
They're all gray. They look real nice, real sharp.
San Diego State, led by Greg Bell, having a nice
Can
little
we
year.
Number
just
24.
acknowledge how weird it is to wear Pearl Harbor themed jerseys?
It is slightly weird.
I was going to mention that, but I didn't want to.
It's an unpopular.
You go watch Boise State,
But
Fresno State.
The primetime night game tomorrow is Oregon, Washington. Yep. Which is a huge rivalry now because Jimmy Lake said that they're academically challenged or whatever. It's very
I would
good.
love. There's a lot of like little Oregon over there, bigger than their britches. If you ask me right now,
I agree.
I would love for Washington to win that game.
If
We're
you-
picking it.
If you want a game that starts,
We have terrible.
We have to pick
we do
it.
have to pick it.
Why is this week so garbage?
We
Yes,
have
sir.
nothing
2:30
else.
has some decent
Hey,
games. I'm pretty sure.
Half an hour before Nebraska kicks off, Army Air Force kicks
At
off.
10:30.
There is
10:30.
there's
That's
one
what it says.
There's one ranked unranked. It's Auburn, Texas A&M.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bad slate of games.
Mhm. The best game of the weekend may be Michigan State Purdue.
That's at 2:30.
Uh-huh.
It'll be on the press box.
Yep.
All right.
What do we have today, Rico?
Tell me you're not excited for Wake Forest, North Carolina.
We're picking it.
What are we not picking?
We just went through all the games.
We're doing it all.
Good Lord.
There's one ranked team, and then there's another non-ranked team, and the non-ranked team is sometimes a favorite.
I love it all. True or false? Leaves changing colors is overrated.
Oh, false.
False. Okay, explain your reason.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I don't have a reasoning. I like it. I just don't think it's as big of a deal as people make it out to be.
I think it's awesome.
It's really great. I went on a long walk yesterday.
I like,
and it was lovely. It was perfect. I needed it, and I walked and I saw all the leaves.
So-
I kicked some.
Did you? Were there any crunchy ones?
Yeah.
Okay. When the leaves fall and
there was a pile that made its way to the sidewalk, and I just kicked right through.
When the leaves fall and they're crunchy, there's nothing better than that.
What? Why is that good?
It's just very satisfying to just walk on some crunchy leaves.
So what I like, so I have some friends that live in some newer like subdivisions in Omaha or whatever, and they have these different trees that basically they the way that they sort of shed is they just all like straight down.
Yeah.
And he had one that's like a very yellowish color and another that's like pink.
Mhm.
And he sent a picture of his backyard where he has these two trees, and it's just this like perfect little pile under each tree.
It's beautiful.
It's fantastic.
That's
And then I was driving in Omaha or in Elkhorn the other day in another one of these subdivisions where they have one of these trees on every street and they all have the same. It's just sort of magical. in a
Rico,
way.
that may have been the easiest false ever.
Okay.
I mean, people flock to the East Coast to go get the autumn
It's the
foliage.
foliage.
I know, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I don't get that. Like, I
would
like
flock
it.
to the East Coast just to go to the.
I like it. Don't
doesn't
get me
care
wrong.
about foliage.
I like it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think Mac Jones like foliage, so you're gonna have to change your tune.
I don't care.
Next.
I like Mac Jones, but I don't care. True or false? Daylight savings times ruins lives.
False.
Not mine. I don't have a kid.
What would be the argument for that?
He has a kid.
Yeah.
Why does it ruin?
It
throws
really
everything
struggle
off.
with it.
Throws everything off.
They wake up earlier. They get cranky earlier. Feeding
They get very confused.
Every parent I've ever met whines about daylight savings.
They get
time.
very confused why it's dark earlier and
Just
why it's
take your
still dark when they wake up, and they're like, "What is happening?" And they don't like it
Take your kids to a different time zone.
because they're confused. They're like, "Should I still be asleep? Should I be awake?"
Take your kids out west.
And then they want to turn all the lights on.
And then they'll be confused and like, what time is it? My body doesn't say it's the right time.
It's terrible. It's the worst.
Wow, I disagree.
Okay.
So I'm not. I think you're over exaggerating. I don't think it ruins your life.
Ruins lives.
But I can understand why it would be an issue for you and less for me. I don't care.
I don't care either.
Just like I don't care about foliage.
Because that's Saturday, right?
Yeah,
we're falling back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's going to be great.
I do care about what time the sunrise is.
Bad football.
People forget about sunrises.
People forget about the sun.
Everybody likes to talk about sunsets and when the sun's setting and the day is getting shorter. But 8:03 is too late.
People forget about the sun
Sunday,
until they want to fire stuff into it.
Sunday, it'll be 7:03.
I got up at 3 a.m. this summer to go to the highest point in Maine to watch the first sunrise in America. From this point.
Awesome.
And was very excited to do so.
And it was cloudy.
Fog.
Yeah.
All the fog.
Yep.
Friends that were there went the next day.
No
amazing.
fog?
The photos that they got made me want to throw their camera off that rock down into the
abyss.
Yeah. But
painful.
That's the thin line between
The Schaefer way.
Greatness and Mike Schaefer.
It do be like that sometimes.
Hey, we're close.
Yeah. You want to talk about a luck rating? Mine is pretty low.
We are on a path.
I got that going for me.
Thank you, Rico.
No problem.
That is true or false. We'll take a quick break. It is time for Big Ten Power Rankings with Tiers. We'll do that next.
You're listening to Happer and Schaefer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At MD Pain, we know chronic pain is a problem. It can lead to isolation, depression, and the inability for you or a loved one to live the life you want. That doesn't need to happen. Chronic pain can be effectively managed. The doctors of MD Pain wrote the book on effective, ethical pain management. Get actual solutions with the most up-to-date, clinically proven treatment options available. No one has to suffer in silence. Get real treatment for chronic pain. Call MD Pain.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Areas of fog this morning, then some clearing this afternoon. We'll top out near 62. South-southwest winds could eventually gust around 15 to 20. Patchy fog possible again tonight. We'll drop down to around 41 for the low. Clearing skies and a gorgeous Saturday on the way as we'll top out near 70 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Madonna Therapy Plus, your health and safety is our first priority. Whether you're recovering from a minor sprain or a complex medical condition, our therapy experts can help relieve pain and increase mobility in an environment that adheres to enhanced safety guidelines. Therapy Plus is open in Omaha and Lincoln for comprehensive physical, speech, and occupational therapy, all with enhanced in-person safety plus new telehealth options. So don't let wellness wait. Learn more and schedule an appointment at therapyplus.madonna.org.
Tom and Bach.
Nebraska, they have a 17% chance to beat Ohio State.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. All those computer models are predictors. I don't know where they get them. It's just some guy that they ask down the hallway. Hey, Sam, how much of a chance does Nebraska have to win this week? 17%.
I think they just dust off the old BCS computer and reboot it. See what kind of numbers it spits out.
BCS, it's not doing anything.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to the ticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, sewer and water underground repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. That's Select Plumbing at 402-560-6197.
Tailgating wasn't just meant for weekends. Join 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday at Chick-fil-A for Tailgate Tuesdays. Scan your app with any purchase on Tuesdays and you'll be entered to win a tailgate meal for 15 people. That's chicken nuggets, fresh fruit, and iced tea or lemonade. Winners will be contacted each Wednesday, and you can come see Tom and Bach from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the 48th and O location or at South Point each week. It's Tailgate Tuesdays all season long at Chick-fil-A in Lincoln. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Happer and Schaefer.
Says I take no joy in life. I can see that.
Coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Why are you yelling at me?
Whatever, make me a bicycle clown.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Connor Happer.
You might want to look away for this.
Mike Schaefer.
My boy's wicked smart.
This is Happer and Schaefer.
How many tackles can one man break? Holy moly! Man, woman, and child did that. Put him in the aisle. He's gone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
To the middle, juggle, diving, touchdown, Nebraska. Davison on the deflection. Very close. 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Kellogg's throw.
It's going to be tipped and caught. It's caught. It's caught. It's a touchdown, Western Town.
They give it to Janovich, and he powers for a first down and more. There goes Andy Janovich.
He just obliterates the guy in a peelback block. I mean, he knocked him from here to Sunday.
Now would actually be a great time to have the segment where we take Rico's phone away. So he spent the entire break just tweeting bing bongs at you.
I know. It's awful. I sent back just old angry men.
I noticed.
I feel like that just encapsulates me in a way.
I noticed. Yeah.
Worked out pretty well.
We're going to do that segment one day. We will.
No, we're not.
It will. It will happen.
It was
we just need to distract him enough to take the phone that he doesn't even realize that we're doing this segment.
That it will be even harder.
It's either in my hands or in my pocket.
Yeah, we'll
figure it out.
He won't leave his phone anywhere. We'll have to convince him of it.
We can get it done.
I don't believe you.
It could be something as simple as we get Rachel involved and his kid shows up at work.
Wow.
Or
quite elaborate.
My phone would be in my
sliders
pocket.
here.
My phone would be in my pocket.
We'll see.
He's gonna take his phone with him.
We'll get him.
I'm not convinced.
I'm strategizing.
Okay, we'll see.
Schaefer. Bing bong.
We'll see who bing bongs when your phone is in this room and you're in that room.
Off a text line, there should be a point where we have new clips to add to that montage, right? It seems like those events are getting further and further away from us. That is true. I don't think we've added one since the Jano run, which for whatever reason I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah. Okay, so that was 2015.
Uh-huh.
What clips?
What
okay,
singular
just the
play?
Frost era alone.
What singular play would be worth it? What is the biggest singular play from the Scott Frost era? Wow. We just stumbled upon a topic.
We did not set out for this topic. This topic has chosen us. Do we want some time to think about this and then double back to it? Do you want to ask people on the Starter Heyman text line?
Yes. I'm asking.
Or do we just want to jump into it?
I'm asking right now.
Okay.
I'm asking the people right now. 402-464-5685.
I'm assuming we're saying a positive play.
What is the
Yes,
most
Schaefer.
the most notable
I'm just getting it out there.
the most notable play that has happened in the Scott Frost era? Single play. Have they scored any touchdowns the last 3 years?
Oh gosh.
Barely.
Sometimes it feels
I
like that.
immediately thought of the first game that wasn't canceled against Colorado and like Adrian's touchdown run or his deep pass to JD Spielman.
But
The first game.
The first game.
What was the call like on the Levi Falk sort of like screen that they set up on Michigan because the stadium exploded? Nebraska retook the lead on that.
Yeah, that was a big one.
I can look up
or
the
they
call.
took the lead. That was the first time they took the lead, maybe?
It may have
It
been
was
the first
after
time
the
they took the lead.
interception.
Yeah.
Right
To start the fourth quarter, wasn't it?
Yep.
Jaquez Yant first big run that he had.
I think it actually might be from that game, Schaefer. That'd be a good
Or
place to
Adrian
start.
scoring the touchdown that puts him back up again in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But I feel like you need a long enough play that there's something else. Like the part of the Jano run is that the hole just magically opens up and he takes off.
How about the touchdown to tie it up at Iowa in 18?
Oh, that could be good. Or the 2-point conversion.
The Cade Warner 2-point conversion.
I looked up Cade Warner's stats the other day.
Uh-oh.
How's he
At
doing?
Kansas State. He's doing the same thing that he did here.
He's like got 4 catches.
7 catches,
Yeah.
93 yards.
Yeah.
But he's a great
Something
locker
like
room
that.
guy.
That's a good one.
I don't think. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think anything from 20 is going to be in here because I think you need the crowd.
I
I
agree.
think you need a crowd.
I want the background noise.
The lack of crowd ruins it.
Yeah.
And then
So
there's
it
not,
can't be the jet sweep against Penn State, as somebody suggested.
What I wonder the 2019 call of Luke McCaffrey throwing to JD Spielman in the Iowa game, that touchdown in the second quarter that
What
kind
about
of woke
the-
the crowd back up.
What about the Luke McCaffrey run against Ohio State? Oh no, wait, no crowd. Never mind.
That's 2020?
Maurice Washington swing past Colorado.
Oh, that could be decent
Adrian scored a big touchdown in that game too.
against Colorado.
Yeah,
in
wasn't it a
2019?
short run
Late,
though?
late. It was late to like tie it up or something like that.
And he did his signature fist bump. At
Yes,
the ball.
and that's where I'm thinking. Like,
Well, with that one, I was thinking the Iowa one where he dove in and the crowd was going wild.
that was he bowled over someone rolling into the end zone in 18 against Iowa.
Oh, and like did his little
Yeah, and he's
Conor McGregor
Yeah,
walk.
he did his Conor McGregor walk. That might be the one for me, actually.
We have to find the call.
And it wasn't
and
a
see what
very.
it sounded
It
like.
wasn't a long play.
No, it was very short.
Part of it for me is I want to hear the Greg Sharp call.
Yes.
Do you want the
'Cause,
Greg
like,
Sharp call or you want the TV call?
Yes.
Because I can look if you give me a list, I can look these up and we can find them.
Well, the Levi Falk play. So that one is I just remember the crowd being very loud then and very loud on the Deontay Williams interception.
Yeah.
Are there any defensive
the
plays?
crowd just blew up. Well, that's the thing. There's not a lot of takeaways.
Okay, so here's what we have. This is actually a good list. Let's kind of narrow it down from here, and maybe these are the plays that you can kind of find, Rico.
I'll look it on the text line.
So I want to do this verbally too.
Okay.
The one that you suggested, the Mo Washington
swing pass,
long swing pass in the Colorado game in 19. The Adrian touchdown in 18 against Iowa. Adrian's first touchdown run against Colorado in 18 / maybe the JD Spielman pass in that game too.
McCaffrey to Spielman in Iowa. I seem to remember it got him back in that game.
And then something in the
What year was that one?
That would have been 2019.
19. And then the one in the Michigan game, the Levi Falk.
Yeah. Or even the Deontay Williams interception.
Yes.
Those would have been pretty loud, I think.
I think that's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
So Mo Washington 2019 Colorado.
Yes.
Adrian 2019 Iowa. Adrian 2018 Colorado. McCaffrey Spielman Iowa 2019 2021 Michigan Levi Falk.
What's Adrian 2019 Iowa?
The touchdown run where he
2018 Iowa.
2018.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wanted to make sure we got
Yeah.
the year right.
My
on
bad.
that one.
Okay.
/ the 2-point conversion on that too. The Cade Warner 2-point.
I think the 2-point conversion is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, watching it on the field live, it was.
Yeah. Is this actually happening?
Like one of the 17 times since then that I was like, Nebraska's probably going to win this game, and the momentum of it's going to be huge.
That could be an interesting study. Interesting study.
Yeah.
The fact that we couldn't think of any.
What if we
Okay, so I'll
just
look
take a
all
lot
those
of these clips during the bye week and we just sneak a couple of them in? Will people notice the
In
following
the next bonfire?
Yeah, the following week against Wisconsin.
I don't know.
Let's see if you notice.
People have comments on bonfire every time it happens.
It's really good. You do a great job with it.
I haven't changed it in several years now.
Well, I mean, it's very good.
The first game of the season montage. You do a great job.
That one was I'm less proud of that one this year.
Well, I really like bonfire.
It was hard. I understand.
Well, you know how it is for me. Every time in the as it's playing, I always do the how many tackles can one man break?
I sat in the car because
that's the one that I always get.
There's a couple interchangeable ones like the Wester catch and the Jano run that we could throw new ones in if we wanted to, but I just don't know if there's anything that exciting from the last 3+ years.
I was in the parking lot and I was just trying to remember every sequence of the calls in my head, and I just kept saying it, and I had the radio turned down, so I was like, and I just kept saying them, and I was like, yep, that's that one, and then I was saying it to myself, I'm just like, yeah, these are
now here's what we could do as we get the text line retrospective of Frost's Nebraska coaching career. So that is something that we could definitely put together, especially if he gets fired. We could just it doesn't even have to be obviously won't be the positive plays or some of the positive plays, but if we wanted to think of the memorable key moments over the last 4 years at the end of this year, yeah, we wouldn't have a problem doing that. Wouldn't have a problem.
Nope.
We just get a lot of Kelly Stauffer in the last 2 games.
It's be a really sad montage. Really, really set to Hello Darkness, My Old Friend.
Unsurprisingly, the
Sound of
games in
silence.
which Kelly Stauffer is calling are not games of which come to mind about great broadcast moments. Or
No, I was saying, I was saying for the sad
people
montage.
are texting.
He is an enigma.
Many people are texting me, and they all agree.
You're
calling the
harsh
game today?
but fair.
Or not today. Who's
Gus
calling?
Johnson and Joel
Oh,
Clark.
yeah, that's right. It's Big Noon, isn't it? How did this end up as Big Noon?
Look at the slate,
Because
man.
it's Ohio State.
Look at the slate. There's
It's
nothing
Ohio
there.
State in Memorial Stadium, so they're like, yeah, let's do that.
They could have made Michigan State Purdue Big Noon. They should have done that.
They should have made Michigan Northwestern Big Noon.
They've already played.
No.
Northwestern plays Iowa.
Iowa, my bad. I remember yellow. My bad.
He said it, and I was like, is there a bit here?
They should have made Iowa Northwestern.
They should be
Big
sitting
Noon.
at home and replay this game in which Michigan won 36-7.
They should. They should.
All right, let's do
What's
Big
going
Ten Power Rankings with tears. What's your theme this week?
My theme, courtesy of would you click on this link, which many people are saying is the freshest, newest thing in radio.
Thank you.
Is Will Smith movies, based on the fact that he wanted to avenge his mother's abuse by murdering his father.
He thought about it,
but didn't.
But did not do it.
He did not do it. But he did do these movies. And we start, as we always do, at the very top with what I think is his best performance. And
I gotta
it's
get
not
up his IMDb.
It's not my favorite Will Smith movie, but it's my favorite probably Will Smith performance. He was Muhammad Ali in Ali.
Yeah,
And
never
that
saw
is-
it.
I think you'd really like it. Knowing what I know about you and generally just assuming what you like about movies, I'd be surprised if you did not like this movie.
Is it like a sappy story? Is it like a
No, it's not sad.
Is it a story of redemption?
Well, I mean, it's a story about the world's greatest boxer.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'd be like, I'm not really sure what you wouldn't like about it.
I love the part in movies that always gets whatever version of this carries over from movie to movie is like when there's like this downtrodden guy in a movie and he's gone through some tough times, and at the end, like he walks into a group of his peers and like they give him like just a round of applause.
That get you?
Or a bunch of like really solemn looks like, I got you, man. Yes, every single time.
So basically what you're talking about, I didn't include it here, but it's another performance. People really like Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
It doesn't surprise me.
Absolutely.
It's a good movie.
That
I
movie
didn't-
just destroyed me.
I sort of wanted to just have Nebraska on its own tier and put Pursuit of Happiness there. as sort of a like really tongue in cheek.
That's unfair to the Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just a
it
good movie.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Nebraska and Pursuit of Happiness don't belong together.
No.
So I tried to line these things up as good as possible.
Who's in your Ali tier?
Number 1, Michigan State. Number 2, Ohio State. Only 2 teams in tier.
I have one team in tier 1.
Oh no! No respect for Michigan State.
That's right. It's just Ohio State. Ohio State alone in tier 1 as they started the year and then fell, I believe, as low as 5 this year, which is crazy for Ohio State, and are back sitting alone in the throne in tier number 1, spot number 1. Tier number 2 for me only has 2 teams as well. So basically the top 2 tiers only have 3 teams. Michigan State and Michigan are the next 2. I view them on the same kind of plane, whether that's fair or not. I do agree with you that Michigan has some blow up potential here. I'm curious to see what happens in their last few games. But I'm going to put them right behind Michigan State, who they lost to last week.
All right.
In one of the best college football games that we might get all year.
Yeah. It was very good.
Very good.
I mean, it's rare for me to put a game on my computer while Nebraska is playing because I'm that intrigued by the result.
Same.
And I did it on Saturday. All right, second tier. I went back and forth on which of these movies to go with, but I went with the one that I just liked more, Independence Day. Michigan and Penn State, blow up potential for both of these teams. And they play each other later in the season.
You have Penn State a lot higher than I do. I'll just give you that one.
I mean, they showed up against Ohio State.
They did.
And Penn State is capable of beating Michigan State. They're capable of beating Michigan. Like I'm not writing them off because I think that
I'm not writing them off, but I do have them behind some other teams here.
Yeah. Well, I'll be curious. How many tiers do you have?
I have 4.
I have 5. And the next, do you want me to just go into the next one?
Sure. Why don't you just do the whole thing?
The next tier for me, Enemy of the State, a very good Will Smith movie. Much better than the teams that follow, but I just thought the name of the movie goes pretty well with the 3 teams that are in this tier, and that is Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa.
Yep.
I have them in that order. That's how I think it finishes. I could be completely wrong. It could be Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota. It could be Wisconsin, Iowa, Gap, Minnesota. It could be Minnesota, Wisconsin, Gap, Iowa.
They're all interchangeable.
But I feel like, I feel the same way there.
Iowa is the least hot at the moment.
Yep.
Wisconsin is the most hot, but Minnesota may be the best. I don't know.
I think that's Minnesota has the least amount of weaknesses.
Yeah.
With also maybe the narrowest, like they don't have either a great defense or a great offense. Whereas Wisconsin has a great defense and sort of a putrid offense, but it seems like
they're getting there.
This running back has really come on strong for them. Yeah. I don't really even know. Iowa's offense is just garbage.
They're horrible.
And their defense is starting to show a little bit of
when they're not getting turnovers
that you can move the ball on.
Yep.
So it's sort of like Minnesota ends up at the top of the tier because they have the least amount of volatility on both sides of the ball, but they don't have like one great thing either. If they had Mo Ibrahim, that team, I would feel very comfortable saying is the best team in the Big Ten West.
I agree. They have now lost 3 running backs for the season.
And weirdly, I don't know
it doesn't matter that much.
After Ibrahim, the other 2 and to Bucky Irving, it doesn't matter.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Next movie, 4th tier, Hancock, a movie that I enjoyed the premise of, thought was pretty entertaining to a point, and then decidedly just
not great
was
execution.
Didn't finish it well. And here we find Purdue and Maryland, which are intriguing to a point, but I don't really believe in either of them. And finishing things out, quite possibly the worst movie of Will Smith's career. Also, the one in which he tried to enhance his son's stardom, After Earth, widely panned, heavily criticized, forced Will Smith to go into 18 months of soul searching before he came out of it again.
Maybe it was during that time he thought about murdering his dad.
It could have been. It could have been like, this is what a son must do to his father.
You know what might fix this?
So that's where we find all of Nebraska, Indiana, Northwestern, Rutgers, Illinois.
So do that. Do that again.
Nebraska, Indiana, Northwestern, Rutgers, Illinois.
Interesting. Okay. We differ quite a bit here this week. I just in the order and then some of the tier shapes too. So I have Ohio State by itself in the first one. Michigan State and Michigan are paired together in the second one. The third tier, and there's only 4. I have all of Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota above Penn State.
Feels a little high.
I didn't feel
considering Penn State.
I didn't feel comfortable.
I guess Penn State lost to Iowa.
I didn't feel comfortable mixing Penn State in the 3 because I just think the 3 should be grouped up, the 3 Big Ten West teams. And then I also don't think they're on the same level as Michigan quite there. They'll have a chance to prove that. So Wisconsin's at Rutgers this week. Iowa's at Northwestern. Minnesota's at home against Illinois. They should all stay put. They should win all of those games, each of the Big Ten West teams. Penn State goes to Maryland. And then also in this tier, I have Purdue, who did lose to Wisconsin, which is not looking so bad anymore. And other than that, they have 5 wins to this point. They're going to get a real chance against Michigan State this weekend. They have them at home. I think they belong in this kind of group with the Big Ten West contenders at the moment. We'll see what happens to them. They're definitely more shaky than the other 3, but I kind of like where they sit at this point of the year. And then the rest is just the poop tier, 9 through 14. Here's how I have them ordered. Maryland, who gets Penn State this weekend. Nebraska, who gets Ohio State. Nebraska's at number 10. Illinois, Illinois, who did beat Penn State. People forget that. And they go to Minnesota this weekend. Northwestern at 12, they get Iowa. Rutgers at 13, they get Wisconsin. And finally, reserving their spot for number 14.
A new number 14.
A new number 14. There's been a couple teams who have traded this spot off all year. Illinois, Northwestern, and Rutgers, I think, jumped in last week. We have a new number 14, and that is the absolutely no good, putrid Indiana Hoosiers.
That is very, very interesting. Wow. So Indiana.
I think Indiana would lose to all of those teams right now.
Well, they might lose to all of those teams because they might not win another game.
Yep.
So they have. I didn't even think about factoring this in. They have a game against Michigan on Saturday that they will lose.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of the biggest game of their season,
Rutgers.
Indiana Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Minnesota and Purdue to finish it off.
Yeah.
I was just looking at Purdue's schedule. If Purdue had a better crossover schedule, they would be a real threat to win the Big Ten West this year. Because if they were to beat Michigan State, like as what Lee Sterling apparently has predicted, they have 2 losses. Now they're to Minnesota and Wisconsin, and so it's going to be really hard to have jumped those. But they have a win against Iowa, so they could almost sort of force their way into a tie. They finished with Northwestern and Indiana. I think they're going to win both of those games. So if they were to have gotten like a Rutgers instead of an Ohio State, there's a real chance that they could be, what would that be? That'd be 7-2 if they had won out. That's pretty impressive.
The on Indiana, I mean, the expectation for them is, I think, and for any team that's not named Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State in the Big Ten East, is to be kind of that 4th team, which probably means about 7 or 8 wins, and you beat up on Rutgers and Maryland, and you go to a pretty nice bowl game. And I think that was definitely the expectation for Indiana this year. They've fallen well short of it. They lost to Maryland this past weekend. I think they're probably going to lose to Rutgers next week. That'd be my guess at this point. Like you said, that's kind of their biggest game of the year. Michigan State has taken clear advantage of that and then some, as they'll have a chance to win the thing outright. I don't like their chances to do so, but we'll have more on them, of course, later in the show when we get to our picks segment, which includes some really, really horrible games this weekend.
I did not realize how bad this weekend was.
It's that bad. We'll take a quick break, and for more on the weekend in college football playoff rankings, maybe a little coaching search stuff thrown in there as well, Max Olson of The Athletic joins us next.
Follow Connor and Mike on Twitter @ConnorHapper, @Mike J. Schaefer. You're listening to Happer and Schaefer
At Madonna Therapy Plus, your health and safety is our first priority. Whether you're recovering from a minor sprain or a complex medical condition, our therapy experts can help relieve pain and increase mobility in an environment that adheres to enhanced safety guidelines. Therapy Plus is open in Omaha and Lincoln for comprehensive physical, speech, and occupational therapy, all with enhanced in-person safety plus new telehealth options. So don't let wellness wait. Learn more and schedule an appointment at therapyplus.madonna.org.
State Farm, this is Bill.
It finally got me, Bill.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes.
Oh.
Year after rim-wrecking year, it's tormented the people of this town. It got me good.
But you know, State Farm's got you too.
You hear that? You ain't nothing.
You trash talking a pothole?
Yes, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Areas of fog this morning, then some clearing this afternoon. We'll top out near 62. South-southwest winds could eventually gust around 15 to 20. Patchy fog possible again tonight. We'll drop down to around 41 for the low. Clearing skies and a gorgeous Saturday on the way as we'll top out near 70 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
One-on-one with DP.
Let's bring in Lindsey Krause, Husker volleyball, being from Nebraska. Walk us through the first time full house at the Vandy, and you walk out the tunnel and you guys hear the crowd. Walk us through that.
Oh my gosh. So the first time that was for me was the red-white match, our scrimmage. Like, we literally didn't even have another team on the side of the court. And I was scared out of my mind. I was, okay, maybe not scared, right word, but like nervous. Like, just like so nervous. I've been watching these games, coming to these games since I was 12 years old. And so now I'm on the court.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In state volleyball on Wednesday, Class A number 3 Lincoln Southwest fell out of the playoffs, losing to number 6 Omaha Westside. It went into the 5th set where Omaha Westside came out on top 15-4. It was the 4th time the Warriors played Lincoln Southwest. They were 0-3 against the Silverhawks on the season, but were able to pull off the upset on the biggest stage. This will be the first time Westside will be in the semifinals since 1985. Number 3 Lincoln Lutheran won their match in Class C1 against Bishop Newman. They put the game away in 3 sets. Abby Wackel led them with 14 kills. Caitlin Oxley, Ashley DeBoer, and Molly Martin would all contribute, with all of them having over 5 kills apiece. Number 3 Waverly won their match in Class B over Northwest in a sweep. They will have a big task on Friday as they are set to face number 2 Scott Catholic. Number 1 Norris won their match over number 8 Adams Central in a sweep. They are set to take on number 5 Elkhorn North in their next match. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Dancing at weddings, walking the dog, playing with grandchildren. These are the small moments that make life great. They're also the moments that chronic pain steals from us. Don't let chronic pain stop you or a loved one from living life. At MD Pain, we wrote the book on effective, ethical pain management. We offer the most up-to-date treatments from Nebraska's leading physicians. Don't let pain stand in your way. Call MD Pain.
You're listening to Happer and Schaefer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Max Olson of The Athletic is going to join us here momentarily. Excuse me. We had our first
College football playoff selection committee rankings this week. Georgia, Alabama, Michigan State, Oregon, Ohio State, Cincinnati round out the top 6 there. We'll get Max's thoughts on what the path is for a team like Cincinnati. And Schaefer will probably ask, why does Alabama get treated like this?
Yeah, I agree.
There's a quick preview of the interview. There any moves in coaching searches this week that we need to bring up?
Gary Patterson, he can probably speak to that, I'm sure.
Gary Patterson.
And then we can ask if guys like Dave Aranda actually would leave where he's at, because he's probably going to be one of the more talked about names, right?
Yeah.
With Baylor at 7-1.
I think so.
2 years in.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any shortage of
Why don't we start there? Why don't we start with the coaching search stuff? Hello, Max.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Nothing. We're gonna. I know we spent a lot of time last week talking about potential coaching searches, and it was October. We had a little bit more movement this week, and then we'll get into the college football playoff rankings. Gary,
I think we touched on Gary Patterson last week.
We did touch on Gary Patterson.
That fast.
Yeah, how about that? I guess what's next for a program like TCU, and then what's next for Patterson himself?
Yeah, I think that TCU kind of put out a message at the start here that they are looking at offensive-minded coaches. They feel like it would be hard for somebody else to come in with it that's been a little bit more defensive-minded and kind of live up to the legacy of Gary Patterson. So that seems to be the direction they're going in. There were a bunch of names that kind of came out this week that I thought was kind of interesting, because it's hard to tell, is that a little bit of a smokescreen or not, where it's Tony Elliott and Jay Norvell and Deion Sanders and Kellen Moore, and you're kind of are they just kind of throwing names out there? To me, I wonder a little bit if that's just sort of going through the motions of doing a search when you think that you can get Sonny Dykes, or maybe Sonny Dykes is not taking that job, and they've got to go through it. But I think they're an interesting spot there, but I think that's a really good job. And as for Gary Patterson, I think that I think he's going to be coaching next year. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person who is going to sit back and sort of count his money. In fact, he quit his job on Sunday night and then showed up to work on Monday. So, I think he's still been helping them out a little bit this week. I think he probably would feel a little weird just sitting out. So I could see him, being a DC for a big time program next year. Or I don't think he would need to go the analyst route. I can see him coaching somebody's defense next year and, being very determined to prove he's still got it.
Wait, really? He went back in to help this week?
Yeah. He still went into the office and helped them with the game plan on defense and all that. It's very strange. Very, very strange.
Huh.
Speaking of strange, at least to me, and I love the city of San Antonio, but why would Jeff Traylor take a 10-year extension to stay at UTSA? I get that it's $28 million, that's real money, that's guaranteed. He's 53 years old. Maybe he doesn't want to move, but it sure feels like with all the jobs that are going to be open and all the movement that could happen in the state of Texas alone, that he would have found an opportunity that he wouldn't have had to change states and would have made at least that amount of money, and probably a little bit sooner than over 10 years.
Yeah, it's a great question. And, he chose the extension at UTSA over Texas Tech. He was in it for Texas Tech. They thought they had him. They were really excited to hire him. And he, I'm sure the timing plays into that a little bit of I think he ultimately felt like he just couldn't do that to his kids and his program, especially in the middle of the season that they're having. And, from what I've been told, that people at Texas Tech kind of respected the decision that the guy was, willing to kind of stick by his guns there. But it, the 10-year thing is, Lane Kiffin signed a 10-year deal at FAU. It doesn't really mean anything. Those guys will still leave. What Jeff Traylor agreed to, though, with his deal, he agreed to a $7.5 million buyout. So that reduces to 7 and 6 and 5 or whatever over the next few years. But he is pretty locked in now. And I agree with you. That part of it was surprising to me. Especially when you've seen some coaches like I think a great example right now is Seth Luttrell at North Texas was a guy that was up for Kansas State a couple of years ago. Seth Luttrell's getting fired this year. Like he was a hot name, and then if you lose enough games at the G5 level, you're not a hot name anymore, and you don't have other options. And so I think Jeff Traylor did a great job of getting a great deal there, and for UTSA to triple their pay for their head coach, I think it has a lot to do with the fact they're moving on to the American. But pretty wild move on Traylor's part.
I mean, so much of this, you mentioned it there, so much of it comes down to like who's hot and who gets off to a good start and stuff like that. And one of those guys is Dave Aranda at Baylor. What's the market for him, I suppose, this offseason?
Yeah, Dave Aranda, in my interactions with him, very, very likable guy. Really a different thinker than pretty much any head coach I've kind of come across here the last few years. Everyone says, "Oh, very zen and quiet and all that kind of stuff," but he is a sharp guy. And I think what he's done in year 2 at Baylor, like in year 1, I mean, obviously that you can make all the excuses last year for all the obstacles you have as a first-year head coach, a first-time head coach. But man, he made all the right moves this offseason in terms of what he did to fix their offense, and sort of can keep developing their program and become a better head coach. And they've been really fun to watch this year. I could see him being a guy that whose name comes up for jobs. I could see it. I think he probably would have a hard time leaving Baylor, and Baylor being the private school that they are. Baylor can pay a lot of money and can give you, really long-term deals and stuff. So I think it's probably a little bit tough to outbid Baylor for a successful coach like this. But NFL is a different story, obviously, with Rule. But certainly, I think Baylor's going to stay in the Big 12 race here, and I could see Aranda being a name that people take a look at because, certainly for his first 2 years as a head coach, he's making a really nice impression this year.
Do we have to kind of change how we mentally perceive the Baylor job? Because with the work that Art Briles kind of did, and then Matt Rule had that one bad year to start, and he obviously parlayed it into the Panthers. Like, is Baylor maybe elevated to the point that it could be the kind of job that someone stays in and has success in for a while, especially with the change coming in the Big 12?
Oh, I honestly, I think that's part of it for TCU too, is just to see like, wow, look at what Baylor's been able to do with the hires they've made. Like it gives you a little bit of confidence that, we can do that too if we finally make a change here. Yeah, I think that, considering what Matt Rule walked into there, and then to flip it in just, I think, 3 years is pretty remarkable. And then, he left good players there, certainly. And they were not really as bad as they looked last year. But that is I think that the steady thing there is their AD, Mac Rhodes, who's very good. And as long as he's there, I think I would continue to have confidence that they'd be able to, stay successful or keep hiring good coaches or whatever. But yeah, I think so. I think Baylor is, in that state, you are able to recruit at a top 25 to 30 level, and not with a ton of 4-stars, but to just pull together good classes every year. And clearly, you've seen Baylor can stay relevant in the Big 12.
Max, will a Group of 5 team ever make the playoff?
That I get all the angst this week, and probably if the committee had put SMU and Houston at the bottom of the top 25, maybe people would not be as freaked out about this situation. But I'm not all the way giving up on Cincinnati yet, because they've got the Notre Dame thing going for them. And I think you look at Notre Dame's schedule. I mean, other than maybe playing Virginia, I think Notre Dame doesn't really have like a hard game left. I think they're going to go 11-1. I think they're going to be a New Year's Six team. And, I think that's going to help continue to prop up the case of Cincinnati. Now, if Cincinnati doesn't win out, then it's over for them. They have to go 13-0. But I think the case for 13-0 plus that win over Notre Dame, and if you just get a little bit of chaos, like I do think it's possible they could get in there. But man, they probably also do need to start kind of dominating teams a little bit here in November.
What would your view be? Is there any other conference that could get 2 teams in the college football playoff, or is it only the SEC with how Georgia and Alabama have been positioned at 1 and 2? Is there any route for anyone else to get 2 teams in?
Well, so I mean, my first instinct would just be to say, all right, so how does that work for the Big Ten, right? I mean, I think that
they're the only one that would really make sense.
would it be that situation like we had a few years ago where Ohio State, I mean, I don't know. We had the deal where Ohio State doesn't play in the conference title game, but they still got in over Penn State, right?
Well, it'd be the
but I
other
think
way.
A 2-loss Ohio State, you can't really do that.
It'd be the other way. It'd be Ohio State wins out, Michigan State gets left out, and I don't see them getting in with one loss.
No, or would it be? Would it be the two Michigan schools? Maybe, if Michigan were to win out, but they don't. If they both win out, Michigan doesn't get to go to the Big Ten title game. But
Michigan State
I don't know.
does,
I think it's look. You have to at least like step back and say like, man, this season has given us a lot of top 25 losses every week. So it's hard to sit here and say that like these scenarios can't happen. And I think honestly, when you look at the Pac-12, the ACC, and the American, I think that their league champion, whoever it isn't going to be able to rack up that many top 25 wins the rest of the way here. So yeah, I wouldn't rule that out.
I know we talked about him a lot last week, but it feels like the price tag maybe on Mel Tucker just continues to kind of go up and up and up. Obviously pulling off the huge win last week. I guess what's your read on that situation right now and what could be out there for him this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, from like the SEC standpoint, I guess I would be curious to see, if Florida were to open up, and I don't know, I don't really buy that it will, but man, it's in a little bit of a funky place right now.
Yeah.
Is that a kind of job that he would go to, as well? I mean, because I think LSU, I can see I don't know what the preference is on the LSU side at this point. Is it, and it's kind of an interesting crossroads idea here of like, would you go down the offensive road with a guy like Lane Kiffin, or would you go down maybe the defensive road with a guy like Mel Tucker? I don't really know what makes the most sense for LSU. I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around that search. But, I think if you're Michigan State, I certainly understand the thinking here of like, maybe we need to, back up the Brinks truck here and do whatever we can to keep him. And, that's where it's, I think I'm sure that a guy like Mel Tucker has ambitions, to coach in the SEC or coach at the highest level or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean he has to make the change this year. So yeah, the tug of war over Mel Tucker is going to be, I imagine, wild here at the end of the month.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're undefeated at Michigan State right now. They're in the playoff. Like it doesn't get much better than that. Georgia and Alabama are the only two teams in front of them. We'll see how they kind of finish things out. All right, Max, I imagine you're probably on the couch this weekend, given our college football slate.
No, I am. I'm going to go check out the apparently deeply underrated Ohio State Buckeyes this weekend.
Oh,
wow!
How about it, huh?
Max is going to be in the press box.
I'm coming to the press box.
When's the last time you were at a Nebraska game?
Probably the last Ohio State game. Yeah, when game day came to town, I went to that
2019
because I ended up following the bear around all day, which is just a delightful day of a Saturday.
Fun.
So that was my last Husker game, and yeah, looking forward to this one.
Get yourself ready for some breakfast pizza.
Did you guys do your picks yet for this one already? I am honestly curious what you think of how this is going to go.
We haven't done it yet.
Okay, I won't spoil it then. That's fine.
I'll give you a hint. It's I think Ohio State's going to win by a lot, kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
But
they honestly might be like the second best team in the country.
I can. The weird thing is, Max, I can make an argument. I can make a case for Nebraska, and that's different than most Ohio State Nebraska games.
Yeah. I don't have a great grasp of how how competitive and watchable it's going to be, but man, I mean this would be one to get up for. So yeah, I'm excited to see y'all. It'll be fun.
Yeah, 20 years of bad luck for Nebraska is going to manifest itself in one of its luckiest performances against Ohio State, and it'll only lose by 3.
I mean, luckiest performances. I mean, I believe we were all still in college when that when Bowserman came to town, right?
Oh yeah.
I was freshly out of it. I was there. There was I just watched clips of that.
I was there. I left. I went to
It was an
Qdoba.
incredible game. Yeah. That's Happer's story for that.
Bo Pelini yelled at me after the game. All right. Thanks, Max. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, see you guys. Max
Olson of The Athletic. We'll take a quick timeout and round out the 9 o'clock hour next.
More of Happer and Schaefer is coming your way on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
The weather has changed, and now it's time to adjust your footwear to change along with it. Stop into Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q to get ready for cooler temperatures and fashion trends. They're stocked with Hey Dudes, Brooks, New Balance, Danner boots, Keen or Merrill hiking boots, and plenty of other options. Plus, they have Nordic beach jackets and Bindle tumblers to take to the gym with your new athletic shoes. So get to Brown's Shoe Fit today at 66th and Q.
This is Bill.
It finally got me, Bill.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes.
Oh.
Year after rim-wrecking year, it's tormented the people of this town. It got me good.
But you know, State Farm's got you too.
You hear that? You ain't nothing.
You trash talking a pothole?
Yes, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is your go-to service call in Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for expertise, convenience, and reliability. As your home and business needs expand, so do the services Action can deliver. Now positioned as Southeast Nebraska's premier installer of charging stations for electronic vehicles, they're always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
At Madonna Therapy Plus, your health and safety is our first priority. Whether you're recovering from a minor sprain or a complex medical condition, our therapy experts can help relieve pain and increase mobility in an environment that adheres to enhanced safety guidelines. Therapy Plus is open in Omaha and Lincoln for comprehensive physical, speech, and occupational therapy, all with enhanced in-person safety plus new telehealth options. So don't let wellness wait. Learn more and schedule an appointment at therapyplus.madonna.org.
And now, story time from the world of Yum.
I could not eat fruitcake. I would not eat it by a lake. I would not eat it with a snake. There's no amount that I would take because I'll never, ever eat fruitcake. Hey, these snacks are really good. What is this? This is Grandma's fruitcake, but it's so moist and delicious. I like fruitcake. Okay, good to know. Kids, I gotta go. All literature is a lie.
Check out Grandma's Fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of Yum.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
With today's Husker Radio Report, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com. Nebraska arguably faces their toughest challenge of the season with Ohio State coming into Lincoln. And head coach Scott Frost simply asked, how do you beat the Buckeyes on Thursday?
Yeah, these guys have elite everywhere. Offensively, they have elite talent. I think they got 3 NFL wide receivers and huge offensive line and a really good tight end and a freshman running back that right now is playing about as well as anyone in the league. So, if you try to stop something, they're going to beat you with something else. And you just got to play a sound, solid game.
And it's no secret the pressure has been ramped up here on Frost with Nebraska's 3-6 record, and he addressed that as well on Thursday.
At Nebraska, there's always pressure. There's so much interest in so many people with opinions and talking, and it's hard to not notice any of that. Our players done a great job of locking in and being prepared, and we're going to give it our best shot Saturday against an elite team.
Kickoff Saturday is set for 11 a.m. Reporting with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.
One-on-one with DP.
Let's bring in Lindsey Krause, Husker volleyball being from Nebraska. Walk us through the first time full house at the Vandy, and you walk out the tunnel and you guys hear the crowd. Walk us through that.
Oh my gosh. So the first time that was for me was the red-white match, our scrimmage. Like, we literally didn't even have another team on the side of the court. And I was scared out of my mind. I was, okay, maybe not scared, but like nervous. Like, just like so nervous. I've been watching these games, coming to these games since I was 12 years old. And so now I'm on the court.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Connor Happer. Mike Schaefer.
You know what goes great with major sports moments and or Creighton meltdowns? Coors.
This is Happer and Schaefer.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're feeling generous today.
Generous.
So we're going to give away something in the next hour that we're going to tell you about later. I don't know why we have to hide it. It's going to be a free haircut from Rick.
Oh!
Yeah, we're going to give that away. But right now, we're going to trial run a little game show that we've been working up in our brains for about the last hour and 10 minutes. And it's called Guess That Garbage. So we're going to give you an increasingly close description of a random Nebraska loss from the history of time. And the callers have to call in and guess it. If you are the person who guesses that game, that garbage, you're going to win 2 tickets to Nebraska, Ohio State this weekend. Hello! I hold them right here in my hands. They're
Look
right
at
there.
that.
So give us a call, 402-464-5685.
Guessing the garbage.
Right now.
Guess that garbage? How do we want to TM?
That garbage.
Guess that garbage.
GTG. Guess that garbage. 402-464-5685 on the Honda of Lincoln hotline right now. Looks like it's section 32.
Okay.
I don't know where that is.
Section 32 is in the stadium.
Yep. Now, here's one thing that we did discuss. It is possible that nobody wants to go to this game.
It's a free game,
but it's free.
You get the tickets. They become your tickets. You could go to the game. You could give them to someone else who wants to go to the game.
Mm-hmm.
You could be one of those guys who walks up and down the street with, you're holding 2 or you're waving the tickets or whatever. The choice is entirely yours.
So what you really want to do, and I don't want to scare away the first caller here, but we have one. What you really want to do is be the guy after the first caller, because it's going to get increasingly easier and easier and easier as we go.
Because you get a clue each call.
Now, the first caller will have a chance to get this right. Rico, you don't have to take all their information right off the bat. Just give me the callers. You know what I mean? Sorry if that wasn't clear to start with. We have our first contestant, and our first contestant is Tim. Or Trent. Sorry, Trent. Hey, Trent.
Hey, how's it going?
Trent, it's going well. You're the first caller, so you get the unfortunate circumstances here. There was 8 losses to pick from this year, so it might be difficult. This game occurred in the year 2018, and that's the only clue you get.
All right.
Guess a game. Guess a loss from that year.
2018. Ohio State.
That's correct. Yes, Trent. Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. We didn't give any clues.
It's like the guy hitting the half-court shot.
We didn't give any clues whatsoever. Trent, you did it. Very topical. Nice job. You got 2 tickets to the game. I think Rico's already got your information. Hang on the line, Rico. We'll talk to you here in a second. Trent, well done, I suppose. Great guess.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
You're going to the game, Trent.
That was great.
Ohio State.
You probably had the confidence rating of about 5 on that guess.
So we were going to go through all the stupid things that happened in that game.
So give us a couple of them. So caller 2 calls in, and where were you going to go with that one?
I was going to tell him that Nebraska was an underdog.
Okay. Caller 3 comes in.
And I was going to say probably that could have gone many places. You had some.
Yeah. So my suggestion for one of them was Nebraska potentially lost a touchdown due to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And then caller 4, I think
we could have done Nebraska's kickoff man nearly missed the kick.
Incredible. Yeah. Nebraska attempted an onside. It did not call.
Yep. Nebraska threw a pass backwards.
Yeah, number 5, Adrian Martinez, highlighting what would become one of the trademarks of his career, throws a backwards pass. Number 6, you could throw in good stuff too. JoJo Doman absolutely wrecks a first-round quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would think it would have been gotten by.
It would have been after like the
I think the
third
sun would have given it away.
Yeah,
but
definitely the Caleb Lightburn.
The clue is Caleb Lightburn. And people have to decide whether it's the 8-yard punt or it's the onside kick. Or no, was it 8-yard punt or was it like a negative 2-yard
It
punt?
was it went backwards. Those both happened in that game, right?
No, the punt was in a different game, I think. Yeah. It was not a great year for Caleb Lightburn.
Off the text line, Happer, that's like offering tickets to the Roman Coliseum where the peasants were offered up to the Lions. No, it's not. It's going to a football game.
Trent doesn't have to play in the game.
That's right. Football games are fun.
Trent's not having to tackle Travion Henderson.
We are offering you a chance to go to a football game for free. Also, like, I don't know, whatever. You can go check out Ohio State. I mean,
sure.
Whatever.
It's an opportunity to get out on a nice day on
Saturday. It's going to be lovely tomorrow. Go to the game. Should be a ton of fun. Trent's got the tickets because he correctly randomly guessed the 2018 Ohio State game. Awesome. We'll have to fine tune guess that garbage as we go forth here. We'll come back.
We've got a lot of options.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the fastest hour in sports radio.
So great.
Coming up, we'll get into our keys and peas for the weekend. Chris Basnett will join and we'll make sexy garbage picks. All in the 10 o'clock hour of Happer Schaefer.
You're listening to Happer and Schaefer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
XL Weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Areas of fog this morning, then some clearing this afternoon. We'll top out near 62. South-southwest winds could eventually gust around 15 to 20. Patchy fog possible again tonight. We'll drop down to around 41 for the low. Clearing skies and a gorgeous Saturday on the way as we'll top out near 70 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Parents, if you've been waiting for FDA approval to get your teen vaccinated, the time is now. The FDA has approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for use in preventing COVID-19. While this is the first vaccine to gain FDA approval, all COVID-19 vaccines have been proven to be effective against the coronavirus. Want to reduce your teen's risk of hospitalization while protecting yourself and your community? Get your teen vaccinated today. Visit vaccinate.ne.gov to get started.
You may be eligible for free 500 megabit internet from Allo if you've been financially impacted during the pandemic or received federal support. This is Brad Moline, president of Allo Communications, and I'm proud to say that Allo is supporting the FCC's Emergency Broadband Benefit Program. We're committed to providing everyone in our fiber communities access to high-quality internet. To find out more, please stop by our Allo store or go to allofiber.com/EBB.
I'm Dan Friedman. When you entrust the care of an aging or sick loved one to a nursing home, it can be a gut-wrenching decision. Unfortunately, sometimes these facilities are poorly managed or make bad decisions, and our vulnerable loved ones suffer the consequences. If you believe your loved one suffered at the hands of a poorly run nursing home, it doesn't cost you a thing to get the opinion of a skilled trial lawyer. At Friedman Law, we've been protecting the rights of injured Nebraskans for over half a century. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In state volleyball on Wednesday, Class A number 3 Lincoln Southwest fell out of the playoffs, losing to number 6 Omaha Westside. It went into the 5th set where Omaha Westside came out on top 15-4. It was the 4th time the Warriors played Lincoln Southwest. They were 0-3 against the Silverhawks on the season, but were able to pull off the upset on the biggest stage. This will be the first time Westside will be in the semifinals since 1985. Number 3 Lincoln Lutheran won their match in Class C1 against Bishop Newman. They put the game away in 3 sets. Abby Wackel led them with 14 kills. Caitlin Oxley, Ashley DeBoer, and Molly Martin would all contribute, with all of them having over 5 kills apiece. Number 3 Waverly won their match in Class B over Northwest in a sweep. They will have a big task on Friday as they are set to face number 2 Scott Catholic. Number 1 Norris won their match over number 8 Adams Central in a sweep. They are set to take on number 5 Elkhorn North in their next match. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Happer and Schaefer.
Says I take no joy in life. I can see that.
Coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Why are you yelling at me?
Whatever, make me a bicycle clown.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Connor Happer.
You might want to look away for this.
Mike Schaefer.
My boy's wicked smart.
This is Happer and Schaefer.
Fire. How many tackles can one man break? Holy moly! Man, woman, and child did that. Put him in the aisle. He's gone. Touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown.
To the middle. Juggle. Diving. Touchdown, Nebraska. Davison under the deflection. Very close. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Kellogg's throw. It's going to be tipped and caught. It's caught. It's caught at the touchdown, Westertown!
They give it to Janovich, and he powers for a first down and more. There goes Andrew Janovich. He just obliterates the guy in a peelback block. I mean, he knocked him from here to Sunday.
Welcome back in. Hour number 3 of Happer and Schaefer here on 93.7 The Ticket and the ticketfm.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer with you for the fastest hour in sports radio. Brought to you by Allo.
We're going to go fast.
Thinking better, faster Wi-Fi at home? Now's the time to switch to Allo. Their Wi-Fi 6 Blast router is included with 500 meg and 1 gig internet plans. This router is a serious powerhouse power wagon, providing better speed, range, and signal throughout your home. That's Allo. Call them today at 402-480-6550 or chat with them online at allofiber.com. We're going to go fast, just like the internet speeds at Allo. Keys and P's, let's start with the keys. Let's say this up front. There is a path. We're on a path.
Not a trail.
There is a path here to Nebraska winning this game. Nebraska has to do a lot of things right. I mean, as the spread would indicate, I don't think the gap is as big as it has been in previous years. I also think we're less certain about this Ohio State team. They may, as Max said, ultimately be the second best team in the country or third best team in the country, whatever that ends up being. Their offense is really, really taking shape. As Dave Biddle said yesterday, they haven't played anybody in quite some time now. Struggled a little bit earlier in the year and have gotten things back on the right track. Obviously, it's a challenge to deal with Ohio State. They come in as 14.5-point favorites into Lincoln, but I like the fact that it's at 11 a.m. These are all the things kind of going for Nebraska. I like the fact that it's at 11 a.m. The last time Nebraska played Ohio State at 11 a.m., well, I guess that would have been last year. Maybe that was noon.
Well, it was a big noon, but it was noon out there. Local time, it was noon. This time it was 11 a.m.
It was early last year, though. Yeah.
Pretty sure.
That didn't count, though. It was 2020.
Yeah.
Nothing counted in 2020. Everyone knows that. It was 2018 when Nebraska went up there and almost got the job done. And that's kind of the blueprint. Obviously, you're going to need Ohio State to turn it over a little bit, force them into some throws. Think Oklahoma. Game plan wise for Nebraska. And they executed it really, really dang well. The one thing they fell short on in that Oklahoma game was chances to make big plays, chances to make interceptions against Spencer Rattler. We'll see if Stroud needs to force a couple in there. I think Nebraska is going to let him have the short ones. I think he'll probably have a obscenely high completion rate in this game, as Justin Fields did a year ago, but you can't let him take the top off. So it's a challenge. It's a big day for Nebraska's secondary against those three awesome wide receivers. Offensively for Nebraska, so that's defensively. Prevent the backbreaker. Don't let the backbreaker happen, and certainly don't let it happen early.
That's going to be hard too, because and I'm definitely with you. I think the path to Nebraska hanging around in this game is very much like Oklahoma, where you force a quarterback that maybe wants to go for a deep shot, to force him to take underneath. You really have to tackle well on Saturday. I mean, tackling is going to be huge. But the biggest thing to me is that front 3 to 4 or whatever it looks like, and then throw in the two linebackers. When Ohio State runs, you can't let leak yardage get to you.
Yep.
And you really kind of need, like this, I feel like every game feels like Damian Daniels got to have a big game here.
Yeah.
Feels like it again, because I do think that's one area where Nebraska matches up okay. I don't think Ohio State's offensive line is great, but the problem is I don't think Nebraska is going to take advantage of it when they pass, so they have to take advantage of it when they try to run. CJ Stroud is not a threat to run.
Nope.
He doesn't want to. So when they're in shotgun, like you don't worry a lot about zone read here.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nebraska,
just like Haskins in 18.
Yep. Nebraska can really sell out when they're in shotgun and the ball goes into the stomach of Henderson or Williams or whoever. It's not coming back out for a run.
Right.
And so now you can do some pop passes and some stuff off of that. So
Fields could have done it last year, but they just chose not to.
Yeah. And they're
like, yeah, let's not.
They will they'll try to establish that run. So Nebraska's going to have to be pretty good up front, and the linebackers are going to have to be rock solid. It's a tough day for Luke Reimer and Nick Henrich.
Well, it just stresses everybody because
I'm stressed and I'm not even playing.
Those wide receivers are so good, and I think what Nebraska will try to do is shell them in, and a lot of too high stuff over the top. Don't let them get over the top. But in order to do that, you can't let them chunk you away for 10 yards in the run game every time.
Yep.
So that's the real challenge.
They got to win somewhere, and it pretty much has to be up front, because you're asking your defensive backs to just hang. And then JoJo Doman kind of draws a really tough assignment, because I think he's just going to be with Garrett Wilson the whole day. Like the whole day.
Yeah.
Because they're going to want to try to match up Wilson against either Reimer or Henrich or Kolarevic, and you can't really
in their base. Yeah, I think
you can't do that. Yeah. Like that's a loss every time. Like if I was the quarterback, Stroud, and you see Wilson against any of those guys and in either man or zone, like you're gonna try to hit that, because
no doubt. I mean,
Wilson,
oftentimes Nebraska will just leave that guy uncovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No good.
So what's the poison that you pick here then?
I think if you're Nebraska,
Because you have to pick one.
You have to slow down the passing attack because you have to make them commit to running with Henderson. And that's what Penn State did. And for 27 carries, they bottled him up really well, less than 100 yards. For one carry, he had a 60-some yard run. And so I think that's what it has to be for Nebraska. I think you basically have to say, okay, you're going to have to work your way down the field. You're going to have to show commitment to your running game. You're going to have to your quarterback's not going to have to, he's going to have to play underneath. We're going to take away the deep ball. And Penn State did a really nice, good job of that. I think that's a lot of the film that Nebraska's going to watch. I think Nebraska's defense can play that way.
I mean, that's the book on these teams. You look around what's happening in the NFL right now with like these quarterbacks. I mean, it happened with Spencer Rattler this year. Shell him in, don't let him hit anything over the top. Oftentimes these quarterbacks get a little antsy and they want to make a play down the field to one of their awesome wide receivers. So if that opportunity presents itself, Nebraska has to make a play.
Yep.
I don't think Stroud will throw it in harm's way too often, but if it does, it has to be an interception.
He might, and this was early in the season, he's gotten a little bit better, but he had a tendency to leave the ball high too. And so if he does try to go over the middle and he leaves it high, Miles Farmer and Dismuke might be the recipients of sort of being there because Nebraska tries to funnel stuff to the middle as it is anyways. So that's one of the areas where if you get the opportunity, like you said, they got to really make those plays. I really think coming off of a game where a defense made them be patient, if Nebraska does that again, Ohio State will make a couple mistakes.
Yeah.
The problem is, can they erase enough of those mistakes with big plays? The answer is almost always yes. And so Nebraska has to play so well.
Do you take advantage of the mistakes?
Yeah. Well, that's we spend a lot of time, and that's the danger of this game is, and I've done this with multiple interviews this week. You spend a lot of time talking about when Ohio State has the ball. I'm far more scared when Nebraska has the ball.
So let's switch over to that side then.
We don't have to.
We should though.
Wow.
So I want to hear from you guys. 402-464-5685 off the text line before we get there. Ohio State won't need to take the top off. They're disciplined and methodical. Even if Nebraska does hang around, Ohio State knows that they'll eventually self-destruct. I don't think that's how they'll play it though. I mean, they can win kind of whichever way they want. That's less true this year than it has been in years past, though, for Ohio State against Nebraska.
I don't think that we have seen Ohio State have to be methodical very often. No. And when teams like Minnesota did it to them earlier this year, they struggled with
They're
that.
So explosive. They're going to want to hit the big play. That's
why those guys go there.
That's their nature.
That's why that offense exists.
That's who they are. Yeah. Offensively, there's one choice. Slow the damn thing down. Don't turn it over. Park the bus, barge it, whatever you got to do. Run the ball, run it well.
The bus is on an air carrier
and
now?
then hope that you can hit a big one. And here is, like, I've mentioned before this week how I should think it's kind of advantageous from a play calling standpoint. You know, from an offensive standpoint, what your game plan has to be against this team going into the week. Yeah, like you know it when the game's on the schedule. This is what you have to do in order to win this game. For Nebraska, in games where they have been favored and they've lost, Purdue, Minnesota, Illinois, it's been largely unclear what they've been trying to actually accomplish offensively. And then you've had quarterback injury concerns and that entire thing as well. And we won't forget about that one. We'll talk about that during the segment as well. But I like that it's weird. I like the idea that the other options for Nebraska are taken off the table. This is straight up just what you have to do in order. You can't run blow for blow with them. You can't, try and pass it down the field and be super duper explosive because you're going to turn it over more times than they are, and you're going to lose that battle. With that being said, there's going to be a couple opportunities that Nebraska sets up to hit some big plays. Whether it's in the screen game, which Nebraska's had some success on this year, especially when a defense gets a little, foaming at the mouth, stuff like that. And the other thing that Nebraska has in this game that was big in Oklahoma and has a chance to be big against a team like this is Xavier Betts and Omar Manning. They have guys that could actually compete physically on this field. How you get them touches is very, very important in this game. And third downs, think about Manning's 2 big plays. I think he only made probably 2 big plays against Oklahoma, but they were huge. It was a huge first down catch and a huge touchdown catch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, one of the things about this game, if you want to compare it to Oklahoma, which we do, and Nebraska, I think, has to play the same way, Adrian played one of the better games of his season that day.
Yep.
I mean, and what I mean by that, beyond just the statistics of it, on third down, he was really good. He hung in the pocket. He delivered throws. Samari Toure, I think, only had 1 catch, and it was a very critical third down completion. Nebraska was behind schedule a lot that day and managed to drive the field because they could get plays done on third down. Ohio State has a havoc defense. I think you can move the ball on them, but they are going to get you in a lot of situations where it's 2nd and 12 or it's 2nd and 16 after a sack. They like it when you have to throw because they can just work upfield. Nebraska needs to work in the running game, and it needs to be successful, 1, to keep Ohio State's offense away, but 2, I think that you can chip at the defense a little bit. But again, it always fascinates me. Nebraska's defense is built in a way to take away a team like Nebraska is on offense. And so in order to win this game, a team like Nebraska is on offense has to go outside of itself to play a little bit different of a style to have success.
But maybe that style is who they should be.
Well, I mean, yes, it is. At least when you don't have enough complementary pieces. But it always just kind of fascinates me because we'll sit here and we'll talk about, well, you got to, and it's like Ohio State will want to play defense very similarly, but Nebraska is going to have to capitalize in spots. They're going to have to stay ahead of chains. I think it could be a good day for like a Jock Ant if they're willing to commit to them to kind of go battering ram a little bit. But it's also a game in which you have a defense that really pressures your quarterback, which means Ramir Johnson's going to be on the field a lot. So he has to, and he's been better than average. Like he's been above average to borderline good in almost every game he's played in this year. So you're going to need that. But
I don't think Nebraska will get physically bowled over on either line of scrimmage, which means they're going to be in it to an extent.
There's a lot of trench stall that should be going.
Right.
I almost think both defensive lines have an advantage, but it's not a huge advantage. It's just that Ohio State has athletes on the edge where Nebraska's offensive linemen have really struggled.
Yeah.
And I think where you can get them is up the middle of the field.
So let's look back to this Oklahoma game. Betts had 3 catches for 61 yards.
And the deep ball.
55-yard catch. Yep. Manning had 2 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. It was basically 30 and 20 for him.
There's 2 other guys that had important days that day, too, in the passing game.
Ramir Johnson, 3 catches for 48 yards. Austin Allen, 6 catches for 43 yards.
Even Vokalek had like the big play.
1 catch for 38 yards.
Yeah. The tight ends will be important here too. But it just all comes back if Adrian can deliver the ball effectively, if he can plant and throw.
Here's the difference in this game, and this is where the quarterback injury concern comes into play. I mean, this is one of those where he's going to have to run, right?
And he can't.
And I just don't know if he can.
Yeah. We haven't seen evidence that he can.
He had 17 carries for 34. I mean, they bottled him up, but they felt the ability to run him 17 times in that Oklahoma
extended
game.
things in that game for sure.
I think he's in a different spot physically right now. It's November. Not just that. I mean, he had the obvious ankle injury a few weeks ago. Didn't look like he was completely there last week still.
There was a theory that he got hurt early in the game or he re-injured the ankle early in that game.
Yeah, that kind of
which is
tracks.
probably fair, but he didn't pretty early on. It didn't look like he was going to be a threat in the running game at all. So it's just not, you're not catching him from the offensive side of the ball. It's difficult because there's nothing that I feel like Nebraska does particularly well. And then how they have to play this game is so different than what they are built to do. Because even that Oklahoma game, it's not like they ran the ball successfully. They're able to just continue to win on third down enough to give themselves chances with some chunk plays in there.
Let's do a couple props.
Okay.
Nebraska points. Let's set the number at 17.5.
I think their team total is a little higher.
Is it?
That. I'll look that up, but I would take the over on. Well, it's actually right in the range of where I'm at, but I'll take the over on it.
I think I'm right on it.
Well, I'm right around the number for both of those. So,
yeah, so I might lean under slightly. The part of this game that gives me the biggest pause is the thing that we just talked about, and
the offense.
Well, yeah, the offense, but more specifically, Adrian Martinez and the lack of what he's able to do. If he's not running, if he's not able to run, he becomes pretty easy to defend.
So Nebraska, you and I both should be.
Oh, look, Corey said the exact same thing that I just said.
We should consider a trip to the boats because
I'm considering it.
The team total for Nebraska, as set by the professionals, is 26 points.
Huh. Yeah.
The team total for Ohio State is 40.5. I don't think Nebraska's getting to 26.
I don't know if they're getting to 20. In fact, I set the number at 17.5, and I might take the under.
Wow. I'll go over on the 17.5, but I'm going under on the 26.
Okay.
And I'm going into my bank account after this show.
Yeah, this
feels a lot like the Northwestern thing to me when I sat here in the same spot and pulled it up and read it to you.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, I've watched this team.
I kind of know what's
they
going on
love
here.
to be right around 23 points.
CJ Stroud passing yards.
Oh, okay.
Let's set it at a very high number. 275.
Oh, I was thinking higher, so over for me.
Really?
Yeah.
295.
Over.
305?
Over.
325.
Over.
Okay, never mind. Well, you set the number then.
Well, so I was like, I think he's going to throw a lot on Saturday.
He's going to throw a lot, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hit that big one.
It's tough to say. Like, it only takes a couple of those plays to a Smith-Njigba or to a Wilson, and then all of a sudden he has 200 yards in the first half before you realize it. Yeah, I think he's going to be throwing a lot. Yeah.
350?
Oh, I had the number in my head is 330. Well, that's not where I would set the line, but that's what I think he's going to end up at.
Yeah, okay, so let's just say 300.
Yeah, that's fine. I was going to see if I could pull up the old projection system here.
Is there a number for this?
There's not a number to. Well, there probably is, but there's not a number I can find to bet on for it. But the projection system I'm looking at, which has Ohio State scoring 36 points, has 296 yards for CJ Stroud. So 295 is probably a good line for that.
Nebraska rushing yards. Team total.
Okay.
Let's put the number at 110.
I would go over that.
They ran for 95 against Oklahoma.
Yeah. I think that they will run the ball better against Ohio State than they did Oklahoma.
Okay.
I think Yant will be a portion of that. The biggest problem for the rushing yards, if you want to go over that, you have to make sure that you're not giving too many to Adrian Martinez because it doesn't feel like he's going to run a lot.
That's the problem.
And so then it's like,
that's why I set the number low.
Can you get a combination of Yant plus Johnson at like 125 yards, 130 yards? So
it's a big day for both.
Yeah. I would. So what did you set it at 110?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably go over on that. But I would keep it under 140, I think. So in that 30-yard range. In there.
Yeah, I might say slightly over as well, but not with much confidence.
Yeah.
Any others we should throw in there? So people are asking on the text line how the crowd might look.
Let's do sacks because Ohio State does get after the quarterback a little bit. If you set it at 3.5,
Ohio State sacks.
Ohio State sacks.
Over.
Feels like it'd be over. It feels like if you put it at 4.5, it'd be under. It feels like 4 is kind of the number.
Yeah. I'd say over.
Because I think Oklahoma had, did they even have one in that game?
Seth asks, Adrian Martinez turnovers over under 1.5.
Over. Strip sack fumble for sure.
Yeah. Is that your oddly specific prediction? What was it this week?
It was Dirk Chatelain this week. My oddly specific prediction was that I think at some point after the first couple drives of the game, Nebraska will have a lead in this contest.
Oh, wow.
I think they're going to play well on Saturday. I do. I don't think they're going to win. And I'll give my score prediction.
You think they're going to
at the end of it? We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Interesting. Ben, crowd lines. How many people don't come back after halftime? Is the mass exodus prior to the fourth quarter?
No.
You think we're staying? We're having a nice long afternoon.
So, and people can. This is actually kind of an interesting text conversation. Naturally, we get to these when we have 30 minutes left in the show.
That's fine. We get. We're good.
I am kind of curious about, like, if Nebraska's hanging within 13 points, are you leaving before the fourth quarter?
No.
Like, if the spread of this game, and I think Nebraska's going to be right around that number. Like, I don't know why
it gets
people
ugly. It gets ugly if Nebraska's out of it before halftime.
Yeah, if Nebraska's getting absolutely decimated, then sure. I don't think that's going to happen.
I also don't think that's going to happen.
So I would probably, I would say that they are not leaving before the fourth quarter. Like, maybe they're leaving with 6 minutes left because Nebraska's down 17 or whatever.
Yeah,
but I would be a little surprised if Nebraska's down by 24 or more points at any point on Saturday.
Weirdly, for what they are, I feel like they're going to be able to kind of maximize during this game. The game plan's kind of laid out for them there. I don't have enough confidence.
I just think Ohio State's going to have a hard time scoring a bunch of, like, unless Nebraska's defense just absolutely can't do anything, which is possible, but it doesn't seem likely. I just don't know that they're going to put up this outrageous point total. The part of it, I guess, would be if Nebraska's offense can only score 14 points, then, a 40-14 game that feels closer than what it is still a 26-point win.
All right, we got to take a break here. That is the Keys and Peas here on the Fast, Sour, and Sports Radio, brought to you by Al. We'll come back. More with Chris Bazinet from the Lincoln Journal-Star. We'll touch on basketball, also what he thinks on some football items next.
Follow Connor and Mike on Twitter, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer. You're listening to Happer and Schaefer. Early break with Sip and Jake.
I think almost everybody wants Frost to succeed, and that's what creates a lot of the discomfort.
But you want him to deserve the time to do it, right? Give us, I want Frost to succeed, but I also want you to go deserve the time.
I understand
it takes to do so.
But the vast majority of the fan base wants this to work, right? And that's a lot of what creates a discomfort.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. One-on-one with DP.
Let's bring in Lindsey Krause, Husker volleyball, being from Nebraska. Walk us through the first time full house at the Vandy, and you walk out the tunnel and you guys hear the crowd. Walk us through that.
Oh my gosh. So the first time that was for me was the red-white match, our scrimmage. Like, we literally didn't even have another team on the side of the court. And I was scared out of my mind. I was, maybe not scared, but like nervous. Like, just like so nervous. I've been watching these games, coming to these games since I was 12 years old. And so now I'm on the court.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You may be eligible for free 500 megabit internet from Allo if you've been financially impacted during the pandemic or receive federal support. This is Brad Moline, president of Allo Communications. and I'm proud to say that ALLO is supporting the FCC's Emergency Broadband Benefit Program. We're committed to providing everyone in our fiber communities access to high-quality internet. To find out more, please stop by our ALLO store or go to allofiber.com/EBB.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win too by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hardworking, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagencyne.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Connor Happer.
I got a taco. One taco? No, it was like 5.
Mike Schaefer.
You don't like a tiny pig? I have never thought of a tiny pig.
This is Happer and Schaefer.
We have a PNB. Potential new bit. That's right. So last week we joined the interview with Chris Bazinet from Lincoln Journal-Star with the question:
154 yards into a 17-mile-an-hour wind, slight uphill shot.
And it led to an argument about my golf acumen and general strength and all of those things. So we're going to introduce the iron shot of the week.
Sponsor pending.
Sponsor pending.
I'm gonna need a song to go with this.
Oh, we can get that done.
Schaefer's just gonna give us a distance, some conditions, and we'll tell him what we're gonna hit.
Well, what's gonna happen from this point forward is I'm gonna pick an actual course and a hole so that you can visualize it a little bit better. But this one I'm gonna have to make up on the fly, and we're gonna say it's a par 3, gentlemen. First shot. You're 174 yards out. It is a rare, calm Nebraska day with winds just between 5 and 7 miles per hour. It is downhill from you, but there is water to your left.
Happer, you want to go first? This is your show.
I think I'm in between here, but let's be safe and call it an 8 iron.
There it is. Schaefer, which way is the wind blowing? Is it into me or with me?
The wind is basically blowing from right to left, so it's slightly moving away from you.
Okay, right to left, quartering off the right. We're going to call it quartering off the right. Helping downhill, 174 yards. You know what? It's probably an 8 iron for me too. Maybe a big 9. Maybe a big 9 if it's a warm day.
An agreement which triggers somebody getting a prize or something.
Well,
like that.
I mean, you're hitting it in the water is what's happening.
I'm probably topping it about 6 feet into the weeds.
We're swinging out of our shoes, and neither of us are hitting the green.
Really excited about this. I'm just going to pick different courses that I know both of you have likely played, different holes. This is going to be great. We're doing
I love it. This is my new favorite radio bit that I do.
Yes.
This is great.
All right, Baz. Now, unfortunately, you have to talk about Nebraska football for a couple of minutes.
Jeez. All right.
What we were just kind of putting together the path to Nebraska staying in this thing for a long time, potentially winning it. What is it for you? What do they have to do in order to get to that point?
I think it's a repeat of the Oklahoma game plan. It about has to be, right? You have to limit possessions in the first half. I think Nebraska had 3 possessions in the first half against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma didn't have too many more than that, if more. So you've got to, first off, you got to get it to halftime. You got to get out of the first quarter. And the last two games at Nebraska in Lincoln against Ohio State have not gotten to that point. So for me, it's got to be that Oklahoma game plan. You've got to be able to manage the clock and play keep away a little bit and take advantage of your opportunity. It's all those things that we've been waiting for Nebraska's offense to do all year. You've got to execute well enough for that to happen. So, yeah, for me, it's a repeat of the Oklahoma game plan. Just try and keep Ohio State's offense off the field as much as you can.
What, if anything, do you think Nebraska's defense, like the key, obviously, you want to limit big plays. Is there an area where you think that they could have an advantage against Ohio State on Saturday?
Boy, that's a great question. I don't know if there's anything that really stands out to me. You know, we know you would normally probably say in the secondary for a lot of the teams Nebraska's played, but Ohio State's got 3 NFL wide receivers on the roster, so I don't think that's an advantage for Nebraska.
And like 5 on their bench.
You know, is it a linebacker? Can those linebackers keep Travion Henderson contained? I don't know if you call that a quote unquote advantage or not. So yeah, this is one of those rare games for the defense where you look at it and you go, I don't really see a huge edge for Nebraska anywhere. So they're going to have to play a really good game, and they've been pretty good all year. So if you're a Nebraska fan, I think you just hope that continues.
All right, Baz, let's transition over to basketball. Nebraska opens up on Tuesday against Western Illinois. Through the 2 exhibition games, what is the thing that you is there been anything that surprised you at all, or anything like that jumped out to you through the first 2 exhibitions for Nebraska?
Probably just how good they have been on offense. I think we all knew they'd be better, but they made 23 3-pointers combined in those first 2 games. And you look at the Peru State game, you go, okay, it was an NAIA team. They made 11 threes, whatever. Well, then they made 12 against Colorado. So I think that tells you this team's going to have better offense than it's had certainly the last 2 years, and probably for quite a while if they're able to keep that up. And it's obviously not going to be there every night, but you know, I think the game by game scoring droughts are probably going to go away a little bit. They still might happen from time to time, but it's not going to be a deal where we're just waiting for it in every single game. I think Nebraska's good enough offensively to avoid those. So yeah, I think everybody thought Nebraska would be better on offense. I'm surprised how much better they've been on offense in those 2 exhibition games. Are
you ready for the Keisei Tominaga season?
I think you know the answer to that, and the answer is no, Happer. All of our Twitter followers have certainly seen the video where I hugged you after he made a 3-pointer on opening. I hugged another grown man on press row. It's very unprofessional. Look, that dude, if he does what he's done the first couple games, it's going to be completely out of control. Like, people already love him. Like, people start going, like, he's one of those guys that like has that buzz as soon as he catches the ball.
Yes.
Like, he's one of those dudes. And if he's anywhere near what he's been so far, it's going to be completely off the rails.
When he got here, I was kind of under the impression it's like, yeah, this guy will come off the bench, he'll make a couple threes, and that'll be nice. He doesn't really bring much else to the table. I thought during, especially the Colorado exhibition, like the way that he energized the team both offensively and defensively, he's going to end up being a really big piece to this thing, I think.
Yeah, dude plays hard. He plays really hard, and Fred said as much, right? He said it the other day. We expected Keisei to play a role, but I don't think any of us expect him to have the role he's going to have. So I think he's even surprised the coaching staff a little bit with what he's been able to do. And look, we all know he can shoot it. He's fun to watch on offense, but man, the dude plays his tail off defensively. He keeps guys in front of him, and he's going to be outsized some days, and that's just going to happen. But dude plays hard, and it's infectious, and it makes it fun. It's fun to play with guys like that. You kind of hate playing against dudes like that, but man, he's going to be fun for those guys to play with, and you can just see it. He's an energy giver, and he gets those other guys going when he's on the court.
What are your kind of initial thoughts on Bryce McGowan's 2 games in the 2 exhibitions? What you saw and where you think it goes from there?
Yeah, he's interesting. I think he's been a little tentative at times, and a lot of that I think is just being a freshman. But the other part of that is too, he hasn't looked out of place, like, athletically in his ability to understand the game, to play the game. he looks like he fits. He looks like he's been in college for a couple of years already. And obviously he's a true freshman, 18-year-old kid coming in. So he's clearly got a ton of talent. I think he's just going to get more and more comfortable as the year goes on. It's just going to take a little time. And again, that's something Fred Hoiberg's talked about too. He's not going to be a superstar right away, but you can see the ability. He fits on a Big Ten roster. And obviously he's in a starting lineup for a Big Ten roster. So yeah, there's a little bit of tentativeness there. Not surprising considering he's just a freshman. He's just played a couple games, but by the end of the year, that dude's going to be a stud. And I think it's pretty clear just from his natural ability.
All right, this is just an insane question, but it feels like it's something that you should be asked.
Okay.
Who's going to make the most 3-pointers on Nebraska's roster in the 2021-2022 season? And will it be more than Andrew White's 87 in 2015-16, which I think is still the most in the last decade plus? It might be. I haven't looked it up, but I couldn't think of anybody else that made more.
That's a great question. I don't think it will be more than 87 because I think they have too many guys that can shoot it, you know? So I think they're going to be spread around a little bit. As far as who's going to make the most, boy, you know what? It might be a bench player. It might be CJ Wilcher. If I had to pick a guy right now, I'm probably picking CJ Wilcher. Maybe Casey. I don't know if he's going to get enough minutes to get it done. But CJ Wilcher feels like a guy that is going to make a ton of shots for this team and has the athleticism, understands the spacing, and not that those other guys don't, but boy, I really liked how he shot it against Colorado. He was really fearless. So yeah, you probably got to give me one of those bench guys. If it's not CJ Wilcher, then maybe it is Casey, because those guys just play with such a fearlessness and just a complete lack of care for when they let it go when they cross half court. So I think it'll be one of those two guys, but yeah, I don't think they get to 87.
We had a very small mini fantasy draft on who would be that guy this year, and both of our first picks would have been Wilcher, and both of our second picks would have been Tominaga.
Yeah, I look, Latman's going to make his share. I think he made 40 some last year. He led the team, I think, with 43 or 47 last year. He might get there again, but somebody's probably going to make 50 on this roster, 50 plus. And those guys, I think, are just going to be able to shoot it at such a high level with what they're going to be asked to do. They're going to be asked to do that, essentially, space the floor. And they're going to be asked to maybe shoot a little bit more from outside than that does. So, yeah, it's those two guys for me.
All right, Baz, we'll let you go. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Can't wait for the next club selection, guys. Talk to you next week.
That's Chris Basnett from the Lincoln Journal-Star. That could be fun.
Yeah.
You got to get a tricky driver 3-wood one out real quick. Give me like a dog leg left where you got to lay up, something like that.
I'm already thinking of different courses and certain unique shots that you get that are right after the drive where it's like you either can go for it or you might lay up.
What's the one at Woodland Hills where it's kind of a dog leg left, the creek's in the middle. You definitely can't hit a driver. There's like a big old tree on the right side.
I've not been there in a long time. I think the last time I was there, Bogies and Stogies was rolling around.
Oh, wow. Really?
I don't play Woodland Hills very often, but
it's a good one.
I think I'm playing in the golf league should it exist next year. So we'll see.
Interesting.
I'm hanging up the softball spikes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a career move.
Yeah, it's over. I'm like Buster Posey. It's time to go.
Oh, no. I don't think you walked out on top, though.
Well, he didn't either. They got knocked out of the playoffs too.
Yeah, but he hit like 300 this year.
I didn't hit 300. Actually, I probably did, but it wasn't an impressive 300.
All right, so coming up next, we'll have our picks of the weekend, which is now brought to you by Great Clips. So to celebrate our sponsorship from Great Clips, we'll be doing this every week. We're giving away our haircut. And
we won't be giving you the haircut.
No, we're
professionals
giving away,
with scissors will do the haircut.
Correct. With Great Clips, we'll tell you about them when we come back. But right now, we're giving away a free haircut. No questions asked. You call 402-464-5685. And your caller number 6 at 402-464-5685. You are going to win a free haircut, redeemable anytime, from our friends at Great Clips. They sponsor our picks of the weekend, and we'll do that next here on Happer Schaefer.
More of Happer and Schaefer is coming your way on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental of Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Areas of fog this morning, then some clearing this afternoon. Will top out near 62. South-southwest winds could eventually gust around 15 to 20. Patchy fog possible again tonight. Will drop down to around 41 for the low. Clearing skies and a gorgeous Saturday on the way as we'll top out near 70 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already in our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
Hi, Sean Callahan here. In 2013, I first came across Koppel Chevrolet GMC in Louisville, and I've been a customer ever since. What's kept me coming back to Koppel is the people. Oftentimes, owner Bob Koppel and his son Brandon are right there with you in the showroom, walking you through the process. There's no runaround at Koppel. It's a hardworking Nebraska company built on honest, small-town values. So make that short drive to Louisville or visit them online at koppelcars.com.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise. Hi, folks. Greg Sharp here, the voice of the Huskers. When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise when the bill comes. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant, air conditioning, heating, electrical, and plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Lay the groundwork for more harvesting capacity when you order new John Deere combines and headers during Landmark Implement's early order program. Whether you're looking to improve your existing combine, corn head, or flex draper, or you've been wanting to update to a new model year, now is the time to upgrade. Get the very latest harvesting equipment and technology that fit your operations needs. Get your new John Deere harvest equipment built just the way you want. Contact your local Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
Allo business customers get more than just fast, reliable connections. They get service and support to meet all their voice, data, and TV needs. Because supporting your business is our business. Allo delivers peace of mind with a 100% fiber network, hosted PBX solutions, redundancy protection, and best-in-class service to back it all up. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685. That's 402-480-6685.
You're listening to Happer and Schaefer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is almost time, ladies and gentlemen, to get sexy. Where can you get sexy? Even though they did not approve this catchphrase. Great clips! Save money on haircuts the rest of the year by purchasing great cards for just $12.99. Normal haircut prices are $16, so these save you about $3 a haircut. Great clips. It's going to be great with 7 locations in Lincoln. We gave away a haircut to Bill who is extremely
Bill.
excited about it. Very, very good.
Bill's going to look fresh for the Nebraska-Ohio State game.
That's right.
Or the bye week, however he wants to play it.
Whatever, yeah. You could deploy that. You can shoot that bullet whenever you want to. So we'll see what Bill decides to do with it. We probably won't hear about it, but he gets a gift card.
I would like future listeners, future winners to let us know how you feel after that haircut.
Oh, what a feeling.
Yeah.
What
It really
a
is.
feeling.
I came in the day that I got mine cut because I had to come back for something. So great.
It's
you
the best.
You feel amazing.
Picks of the weekend last week. It was a good week for Schaefer, who made up a couple games on both of us. Schaefer goes 4-2 with wins on Michigan State, Georgia, Penn State, and Purdue. You did pick Purdue.
No, I did pick Purdue.
You
So
did?
what were my other loss then?
You did.
Oh, I had
Purdue.
Ole Miss.
You had Ole Miss and Iowa.
That's right.
Yep. Me and Rico both 2-4 last week. Standings update.
We don't need to do that.
We do. It's important. We're about integrity.
We don't need
integrity.
Integrity.
Still in the lead, me. Anybody ever thought about me?
They got to replace the bear on ESPN. Why not Happer?
31-22-1.
Still great.
Just like Great Clips. Schaefer gaining ground, 2 games behind me. 29-24-1. Rico.
And that's it. Those are the only records.
Losing ground. Now 5 games under 500. 24-29-1.
Time for a 5-0 week.
He could have it. It could happen.
He could have it. It could happen.
It probably won't.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Going to move the line there a little bit to get sexy. We begin with, let's just start off hot with our game of the week is what I'm calling it this week in college football. It features number 3 Michigan State, who's a 3-point favorite on the road at Purdue. Boiler up. Choo-choo. 2:30 ABC. Rico.
Give me the Spartans.
Uh-oh.
I'm taking Michigan State.
Yeah, it's going to be a sweep on Michigan State.
I'm taking
which
Kenneth
is not
Walker
good.
will have more touchdowns than what the spread is for Michigan State.
I don't think it's a rout. I think Purdue hangs here a little bit. Michigan State's defense, not great. Obviously, I mean, it's been a leaky, undefeated team the entire year. But I agree with your main point. They're going to have a time against Purdue's run defense. There. I'll take Michigan State, even though they are 3-point favorites. I want as much Purdue love as I can get here, though, because I'm worried about the margin of victory for Michigan State.
Yeah,
and I'm not totally convinced that that Purdue won't win, to be honest with you. So I'll take Michigan State with a low amount of confidence, a sweep on Sparty, which doesn't bode well for them. Number 9, Wake Forest, undefeated, is at North Carolina, who is a 2.5-point favorite tomorrow, 11 a.m. on ABC. This is the early game that Nebraska has to compete with tomorrow morning.
Tough competition.
Schaefer, you start.
I'm going Wake Forest here. I think the wrong team is favored. North Carolina's been really up and down. I know that the Wake Forest defense is a little suspect, but I don't really believe in Sam Howell. And I think Wake Forest can score on anybody in their conference. And that includes Clemson, who they're going to get in a couple weeks. So this
The
is
Battle
gonna be,
of Sams.
This is going to be a high-scoring game, but give me Wake Forest in a win here at Chapel Hill.
Oh, you think it's going to be like a Wake Forest Army situation, 70-56?
Not that high. Maybe more of a 42-38 kind of game.
Oh, so Wake Forest Syracuse, which was 40-37.
Yeah. Wake Forest makes teams have to score, in part because their defense isn't that good, but in part because their offense is really good.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I'll take Wake Forest also.
I was also going to take Wake Forest. The numbers say North Carolina beat Duke 38-7. Wake Forest beat them 45-7. They score more points.
All right, so this is bad. I'm sorry, Wake Forest and Michigan State. We got 2 top 10 undefeated teams that are going to lose this weekend.
Goodbye.
All because
they had good runs.
All because we put them.
So we're going to bet the under on Nebraska's team total, and we're going to parlay Purdue and North Carolina money line.
Exactly. Number 13, Auburn is at number 14, Texas A&M, who's a 4.5-point favorite, 230 CVS. I'll go first. I'll take Auburn on the road to cover the 4.5.
I think there's a lot of respect given to Texas A&M. They beat Alabama. They've had a weird sort of year. I think Auburn's a better team. I think Auburn's going to win this game, and I'm going Auburn.
Okay.
I'm going to go Texas A&M.
Oh, he zagged. He wanted to, but he zagged.
I think he wanted Auburn.
I really did, but I can't do it. I got to make up ground on you guys.
Number 4, Oregon is a 7-point favorite at Washington, 6:30 ABC.
I'm going first. I'm taking Jimmy Lake and Washington to cover.
I love Washington here in a rivalry spot.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring 20-14 kind of game.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Washington at home as well.
I was going to Zach regardless, apparently, because I'm going to take Oregon.
Okay. Rico likes Oregon in the points. Tennessee
I hate this game.
is a 1-point favorite at number 18, Kentucky, 6 p.m. ESPN2.
No one should watch this game.
This game is disgusting.
I'll take the home dog. This seems pretty easy to me.
Kentucky plays great defense. Like I don't understand why they would lose this game. I am going to take Kentucky here.
We're on a lot of the same.
Let's go Tennessee. Go Big Orange.
Rico is going for the Zag comeback week.
We don't have a single game that we're different on between you and I.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, not yet, he says.
Number 5, Ohio State is a 14.5-point favorite at Nebraska. 11 a.m. Big Noon Fox. Rico.
Nebraska loses by 12.
So they cover.
Yes.
Mike Schaefer.
Ohio State covers 33-17 against Nebraska.
So they get them by the hook? No, 16.
1.5.
Ohio State 42. Nebraska 17. It gets ugly at the end.
They push it away.
Yep, they do.
All right.
Nebraska can hang, but I'm going to take Ohio State.
Rico believes the most in Nebraska.
Me and Schaefer on all the same picks this weekend. So
At least you don't have to add up both.
Just fade us. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning on the pregame show, which begins at 8:30 from Tipsy Tina's. Should be a lovely morning. Join us. See ya.
Yesterday, your water heater